That's from the man, baby. The woo! You heard that right. Love it. Welcome in, everyone. It is the king of the restreams here, hanging out, and get a chuckle out of my friend that's going to join me for the first 2 matches here. Host of the Euro Friendlies that is actually getting some good viewership on Wednesdays. Can you believe it?
Astonishing.
Astonishing what you can do on this channel, right? Anything you do here on the Classic Tetris channel just is gold, apparently, right?
It is.
Apparently, so.
There's all the new people who haven't seen Euro Friendlies before, who don't know to not watch.
Exactly, right? Either that, or there's a really good fan base for Mart's matches towards the end. Apparently, there's a big Mart following.
Maybe.
That's not for nothing, but that's like your highest viewership count is when Mart's is playing. But we won't go there.
The Classic Tetris viewer, they want the 2017 CTWC vibes back.
Absolutely. So, yes, this is it. The Class of Champions, the 2023 version. It is the king of the restreams, and Sunny. Gonna hang out here for a couple of matches. Gonna give you some good old-fashioned Classic Tetris, and then after Sunny heads off, because it's a little late over there in Scotland, we're gonna tag him out, and come and tag in as your other pal. Pumpy Heart will be here tonight with me, so that'll be very nice. Get Pumpy's analysis, and I'm sure he'll talk about ELO for a non-ELO rated show, but that's okay. That's what he does. So we're just minutes away here, Sonny. We are minutes away from.
We are indeed.
A fun one. I know you're not too much in the scene of some of the storylines happening, and they're really kind of in that moment here right now in the Friendlies universe where we're kind of transitioning to that big super show we did in June of Reckoning, which was a little bit later, but we're trying to keep on timeline with Class of Champions now, which is a pretty simple concept. It's just get all the friggin' champions to play one night. That's it, right? It's very simple. There's no storytelling needed, but we'll try to make a narrative, won't we?
Of course, we want to see some. Well, I was going to say some good matches. As long as they're not Euro Friendlies caliber, then we'll be happy enough, I think. Well, I will be at least.
Well, you will be, of course. So hopefully that will be the case. So let's go on over and take a look at that. Let's start here. First of all, with the first match that's going to kick things off, and these two are Euros, along with you, Sonny, but they definitely can give us better than a Euro-friendly type of match. It's Dewey from Finland. Dewey from Finland, and the Phenoms champion, Toby from Germany. Sonny, give me your thoughts on both these players. Obviously, it's a tappers match, something that you wouldn't see back in 2021 was like the biggest deal now. Now it's like ancient history.
Yeah, I think Toby does feel like a pretty clear favorite in that, he was in Div 1 last season of CTL. I don't think he is anymore, but no, he's in my Div actually, so I know he isn't. But Dewey was in Div 4 last season, so performance-wise, on average, Toby seems like a pretty clear favorite.
Indeed, you would think obviously the odds going in favor of the champion, but Dewey had a very good season. In CTL, was promoted after winning, and was in the same division with Bendy, a lot of people are very high on Bendy's these days with his stellar dash play. But Dewey making a big comeback, has always been a stalwart in Friendlies, is always playing here, and I think now is the time. His last few Friendlies have been pretty good, so I think maybe can give the champion some fits, and you never know. We've seen stranger things happen on these shows.
Oh, for sure. And I mean, well, especially on Euro Friendlies, where you can always be sure to find Toby and Sidnev early topping 3 games in a row.
Of course. Of course, that's right. And, Toby got fans here. Speedrun Beginner in the house says, Toby looks so good. Well, hopefully we'll get Toby on cam. It has a cute little kitty picture on, but if we can get Toby on cam, that would be even better. And you can see his brilliant face and excellent smile that he has. But moving along there, of course, Sonny, you give us your breakdown of 2 players that you know very well. It's the Poopy Old Hag and 20Dan03. Dan is one of your good pals, as you've mentioned many times, and you've seen plenty of Poopy matches outside of the Euro Friendlies.
I have indeed.
So, your take. This is finally, somebody's going to win this damn belt. It was thrown in the trash. Former champion Tugi had enough. He got tired of people calling him out. He didn't want to play anymore for that belt, and he said, here, you guys do whatever you want. Leave me alone. And here we go. Yeah. The tournament is finally come to an end. This is the finals. What do you think's got this one?
Okay, so this is an interesting matchup because Poopy's the DAS player, but weirdly, Poopy is sort of the more inconsistent but high scoring player out of these two. Like, Poopy gets 1.1s in comp, like, surprisingly often for a DAS player. Has like a 1.2, has a 700k transition in competition, the only one ever with DAS, I'm pretty sure. Whereas Dan's sort of just consistent, despite being the tapper here. So it's a bit of a flip on the normal stereotypes of the playstyles. So it's really a question of what Poopy shows up today.
Indeed.
Will it be the 1.1 or will it be the 600k top out in 23?
Absolutely. And the thing is that both of these players are about to make history as well. The winner of this match will join Dan Vinky as the only two players in Friendlies history to win two different belts. Dan, obviously two-time former Upstarts champion, Poopy, a former Phenoms champion. So one of them will make history tonight and join Dan in that illustrious group. And speaking about Dan, we'll get to him in a little bit because he's in the main event. But before that, we'll talk about the Upstarts. And here you go, Sonny. We got our Upstarts friends. It is Peyton, who we haven't seen in quite some time, the real heel, but is the #1 contender. And pretty much the guy on the right, he's been beating everybody up in that division. No one's been able to take the belt away from him. He is no longer a revolution. He is the evolution of DAS, Sonny. Maestro,
Yep.
what do you got in this one? Will Mice continue to evolve into the stellar DAS player we have come to witness?
Yeah, I mean, I've got a root for Maestro here. I think he's so good in comp. I don't know what it is. He's just so consistent for a DAS player. Whereas Peyton, I haven't seen him that much recently. You know, he's played a few matches here and there, but not been in like CTL or CTM for a few months really. So I'm not sure what to expect from him.
Well, I can expect some high-powered DAS. I'm sure this will be a good one. We'll see what the real heel can do tonight. Maybe he can make the upset. Had a very good run when we were doing the Upstarts Gauntlet, which is kind of the last time we saw Peyton. But, you know, again, Mice has run through the entire division. We're waiting for someone to rise up, and we'll see if Peyton will be that individual. And as mentioned, we got 4 matches because we got 4 belts, and this is the main event. Maybe a little bit of a surprising one, but I think it's a good one for our new champion to defend on. Mr. Daniel Vinky, goes by Dan V in many circles, is going to defend after beating Huff in that crazy game back at Reckoning. He's going to take on Somalian, who, Sonny, you know, has had a crazy run of his own over the last couple months.
Yeah, making it to the CTL playoffs as a tapper is remarkable, to be honest, in 2023. I don't think anyone was expecting that. But with no line cap, I believe, is the standard rules. The players could agree to one, though. Can't see a way for Somalian to actually win against Dan, who can get, you know, 100 lines plus on 29 pretty consistently. So, I don't know. We'll see.
We certainly see. I mean, it'll come down to, can Somalian be that type of player we saw in CTO where he was, you know, very consistent. The guy's maxing out, right? Even though it may be like a little bit of like a low 1.1 type of score, I think if he can be consistent doing that and force Dan to maybe have to chase and falter on the 29 plus, again, there is no line cap, but in the rumblings going on, they've agreed to a level 69 line cap with 2-time kill screen being initiated. So if we can get there, you might see something really special there.
I'm sure Somalian is going to be reaching that level every time. I believe his current level PB is 35, so we'll see.
I mean, well, that might be one way to break that 1.3 PB he's got, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Let's do it tonight, Somalian.
Even I have a higher PB than Somalian. I don't know what that says.
I might say, I think enough.
Yeah.
So there you go, folks. That is the story. That is what's happening. It is the Classic Champions. It's happening tonight, Friday, August 11th, 6 p.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. UTC on this, of course, the prestigious channel, twitch.tv/ClassicTetris. And we're going to kind of just like go right into it because unfortunately, King kind of very busy these days, so did not get a chance to make those lovely videos that you all want to see, the hype videos to highlight and showcase players. I really do apologize to them. I like to always try to do that, but it just wasn't working the cards for me this go around, as it kind of really ran out of time. But I promise we'll come back bigger and better when we get to Rivals 4. That one certainly will be a really good one. All right, Sonny, I think it's about time. I'm going to head on over to the main title card, and we're going to get this show rolling, baby, in just a moment. Woohoo! All right. Bang, 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 bang for me, baby. It's time. It's time for the moment you've all been waiting for. It is our next Super Show in the Tetris Friendlies universe, and this is the Clash of Champions. Hosted here by the king of the restreams. It is Kingsman. You're watching twitch.tv/ClassicTetris. And tonight we're going to have 4 epic fights of all 4 of our champions. Look at your right. Try to retain their wonderful belts, while 4 challengers will look to try to make history and take it away. And we're going to start off with this one, as this is for your Tetris Friendlies Phenoms Championship. Introductions, please, on the left-hand side, looking straight in to that beautiful screen. Wants to make sure, will he have enough tap to overtake the challenge he faces tonight and become the superstar all the Finns want he is. Staying away from the bar because he knows it's game time. He is hyper tapping Dewey! And on the right is the reigning, defending, undisputed Phenoms champion. Has been looking to retain that belt, and now it says it's game time and ready to beat a fellow tapper down. He is a Guitar Hero legend, as you all know, because that's all we ever say whenever we introduce him. He is Toby! And with me to call this one, well, he's probably the most cursed restreamer of them all, but you love it. And I see him the best ratings ever for a Euro Friendlies event. Laughing it up all the way in Scotland, it's Sonny! Sonny, my man. Yeah, we're ready.
Hell yeah, I guess. I think GD has that copyrighted. I don't know if I can say that.
I think you can say it, it's okay.
Okay.
Well, Sonny, players are ready to go.
Licensed it out.
Nope, go ahead, what was that?
I say GD's licensed it out. We're allowed to say it if we pay him royalties.
Oh, I mean, he's probably charging like a penny per, right? Hell yeah, King, give me that penny.
Exactly. But it racks up. Across all of the restreamers, that's like, a couple dollars a day.
That's true, because I can probably bust out about a good like 25 of those in one sitting, so it's a good quarter right
Exactly.
there. That's like my wage for the week. Damn. Well, Sonny, before we get this one kicked off, let's take a quick look at the online facts that the King has prepared for this one before the players get this underway. And you were very kind to give them a seat. They're going to play with the same piece set, so thank you very much for doing that. And quickly, let's take a look at the online facts of them. We've got Dewey, the Hyper Tapper Challenger out of Finland, has a 1.246 personal best score. Current Friendlies record is 25-23, so pretty about even throughout. Had a lot of losses earlier on in the day, but then obviously racking up the wins over time. His notable achievement says Masters Champion. That's obviously incorrect. He probably would love to be a Masters Champion, but copy paste made that error, so we'll fix that in post. But you know,
maybe Finnish Masters champion.
maybe, maybe a Masters champion of drinking some Finnish beer. Probably is.
Yeah, maybe.
What it is, because that goes to the liking of drinking beer. So there you go.
Yeah.
On the right there, it's Toby the champ, Hyper Tapper as well, 1.344 million score, has a 30-15 friendlies record. That's pretty damn good. Notable achievement is a Guitar Hero Master, and also was a CTL Division 1 player, as Sonny had mentioned. And Toby's likes to play SPS, as you're about to witness now.
Yep, I think they both do. There's a small subset of people who don't like same piece set, but these two guys, they're always like same piece set every time.
Right.
So.
Well, because they've never been to Poland, so it's okay.
Exactly.
Sonny, they're ready to go. It's time to count them down. Game number 1 begins in moments.
In 3, 2, 1, Tetris. Toby with a cool opener there.
I did like that, yes.
I don't know if that was like the most optimal adjustment for Toby, but then he got the perfect piece for it to look like it was. So we're gonna say that Toby was a genius there.
Absolutely. I mean, who would question Toby's decision making? I mean, when you have a 1.34, you made it to Division 1 of CTL, which is an absolute outstanding feat, regardless of you know his current status now, returning back to Div 2. Still, you know, you add that to the resume. Nobody's gonna ever take that away on your resume. So good, kudos to Toby.
Exactly. And when you look at Dewey's board, at minimum, Toby did something more optimally than what Dewey has done so far. So he has scored a dirty Tetris though, so that's something. He's maintaining the score. Oh,
that is something.
Toby does have a delayed Vits. Gets it filled in, and another bar. Very nice.
That's very nice as we do a little stencil editing on our scenes, but a little messy start for Toby. A little messy start, but 45,000 now underway. Well, Toby, very good start here. 103,000 through 27 lines, as you mentioned. Just, I mean, automatic. It's basically automatic these days when we have 18 play.
Yeah. Toby is someone who, like, basically always gets, like, a mid 500k transition, it feels.
And then it kind of just comes down to how Toby handles that 19. Like, I feel like Toby... 18 game is very, very clean. Once in a while, you'll see a rare early top out in that case.
Yeah, usually like an aggro sort of situation gets into a drought and then can't skim something and tops out.
Exactly. And I think, you know, always will admit that, you know, like for Toby, it's either I'm having a really good game or I've had the worst game ever. There's never any like in between for Toby. And I feel like Toby, I would say maybe fair assessment, 80% of the time has very good games. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, that seems pretty accurate. I think as a, like, in his general play style, his tapping speeds and all of that, he's a pretty similar player to someone like Corian, I would say.
I like that comparison, yes. Obviously, Corian has the reputation for all those years of just getting better and better. And, you know, my partner in crime usually who does commentary for these super shows, Chris Bidwell, not be joining us tonight. He's over in Phoenix, Arizona, getting ready for the Super Regional that is taking place tomorrow. And he would normally say, you know, if Corian of today was playing in the era previously, he would have been a world champion at least once or twice. You know, the same could be said for like a Toby. If the rolling era really hadn't exploded, was never founded, I would probably think Toby could be someone up there that probably would be a Div 1 perennial, in my opinion.
Probably. I think he'd be one of those kind of players that always makes it into Masters, but then can't win because someone like Dog gets 1.3s every other game. Oh, Dewey!
And there you go. Dewey kind of like, had a rough tap of a long bar. You can see that.
We basically just spent all of that game just discussing how great Toby is. So.
Yes. Well, I think Toby just proved it right there. That hey, look at that pace. 363 to 78 lines, pretty damn good. Like you mentioned, consistent 500 transition was on its way. So it's up right there.
Yep. We'll have to discuss how great Dewey is next game.
So players, you can increment your seed, and they have done so. They're pros. They know exactly what to do. I don't even have to post anything here in the chat. Sonny, you're a pro. Count them down for game number 2, please.
3, 2, 1, Tetris.
See Toby getting that wonderful caffeinated drink there.
No.
Good old-fashioned Coke.
I'm pretty sure that Toby only owns grey t-shirts. He always has a different grey t-shirt on whenever I see him playing.
Well, it's such a neutral color, right? You don't have to be always vibrant or have to be in dark colors. That like Oxford grey, as they would call it, is just standard for anybody. Like you don't have to have any type of color palette or sense of fashion. It's just a grey t-shirt. It goes with everything.
Exactly. Dewey's got a nice clean board here though, so... And that T-piece solves any parity issues as well. Well, kind of. Oh, this is bad though.
Oh, no!
Not getting the bar in time. Yeah.
Oh, that was a little rough right there. 45,000 top out
Dewey
for
with
Dewey.
the face palm.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, I think he would want to just get his face in a pint of beer right now. That's what he's probably heading to do. Tough early top out. Unfortunate for our friend Dewey. That was a rough one. Yeah, you're good. This time, Toby, you're good. Yeah, I feel bad the last time. We didn't give Toby a quick top out score. He assumed that he won and did not. So he topped out early. Oh, no, indeed. All right, Sonny, quickly. This one's going pretty fast. We're going to go to a game number 3 right away.
Yeah. 3, 2, 1, Tetris. Hopefully it doesn't go so fast that Pumpy isn't available by the time we get to the third match.
Yeah. Well, then you might have to hang out with me a little bit longer.
Oh, what a shame.
What a shame. At least for the viewing perspective from our fans watching.
Of course. Yeah.
All right. So we're going to root for Dewey here, because obviously we'd like to see a nice, good game.
And to be fair, Toby's board was, for a little while there, pretty rough. And it's not great right now. He needs to be able to skim off the right side. Does get some nice pieces for it, and some very good placements on top of it. And there's a Tetris. So his first Tetris. Dewey already scored 2. Ready for a third.
Yeah, Toby's tap tremendous there. You saw he kind of at a low build on the left side, and then a very risky move, just like zipped over. I believe it was an S piece on that left to kind of help fill out, and then the long bar for the relief to come and bring that board down. So players are in decent shape for the moment. 117 for Dewey has the lead. 98,000 for Toby in the early days.
Dewey scoring another Tetris. So Dewey with a nice efficient start. Only 4 burns so far, I think. Well, Toby has a strange board that could resolve cleanly, but well, with those pieces, maybe he won't need any burns for it. I was going to say he might need a couple burns to skim off the top, but he figures it out. Back-to-back bars scoring him a Tetris, while Dewey's got some skimming to do, some delayed burns. Ooh, I like those S-piece placements from Dewey. That was very cool. Creating the square tuck setup.
Yeah, I think we could be very intuitive in some of the placements that he makes. You know, we have been seeing Dewey at certain times kind of falter a little bit, and you know, as we saw in the first 2 games, get into trouble like that. But when Dewey's on, he can be really on. He's cracked as they come when he can put it together. So we'll see if he can maybe stay the course a little bit. Clearly doesn't want to give another one away so quickly. Wants to make Dewey fight for it. Toby fight for it. Apologies. 219 for Toby. 200,000 for Dewey. And Sonny, I'm just gonna step away for a moment. If you could take the comms for me, thank you.
All right, I'll break all of the TOS that I can. All right, Toby taking a safety triple there, but he's Tetris ready. About 250k. Dewey, on the other hand, pretty bad board state, but gets a bar before it spirals out of control, up to 228. So Toby does have the pace lead now, despite Dewey's early lead. So 270 at 76 lines versus 320 for Toby. Both players with a bit of a J dependency, but ooh, nice adjustment for Dewey. I like that. Toby wishing he could do some cool modern Tetris spin to get that J piece in there, but sadly, not meant to be. Dewey, still a nice and clean stack. Toby now not with a clean stack. This is really where Dewey's going to be looking to take back the lead. And nearly has done. Toby, if he can do some Josh Toll's digging, then maybe he can get out of this more efficiently. Scores one Dirty Tetris up to 378. So about 7,000 point lead here. Toby would love a long bar right now. And gets a long bar. Oh, and then overtaps. That is a very sad and unsatisfying placement from Toby, but it's okay. It's okay. Dewey, on the other hand, clean board. He's chilling, I think. Not 390, that's Toby. 440. Something interesting about Dewey's stacking that you don't see from a lot of other players, well, a lot of non-rollers, is he's not really afraid of making his column 9 too high. He just sort of stacks everything wherever it looks cleanest. And it's cool to see when it works, but sometimes you know, see like game 2 where it can be hard to dig out of those situations if you get droughted.
It most certainly can be very difficult. But players are holding their own. It is a transition finally on Toby's side. 453 there and 498. Here we go, Sonny. Finally, we got a good game happening.
We do indeed. But will the Euro Friendlies curse make them top out in level 23? Or possibly even sooner, looking at Dewey's stack.
Oh, needs a bar right now.
No bar. No, 505. Toby. He doesn't really have a great stack either.
Yeah, and if he's encountering...
Toby's very good at digging, and he's skimmed it down as well. Seems like it's a long drought here, but not far to chase down.
Yeah, luckily...
Can probably line it out.
Yeah, luckily that's the case, as mentioned. It is 494 for Toby. Toby, 506 will be the winning score. He is doing it brick by brick here, Sonny. Absolute in control. Big triple there.
Takes the triple. Only needs a couple lines. Got the double long bar dependency though. That double doesn't quite do it. That split double does though. And Toby defends his title.
Just like that. 1, 2, 3. I never gave a second crown to Toby, and there's the third one. We'll just add it right now. There you go. Just like that, this one is over. Toby has sealed the deal. Will retain as the Phenoms champion. Gave a thumbs up. And look at that smile there, Sonny. Even though this match went a little faster than anticipated, I think we all love to see that good smile on the right. How about that?
Yeah. It's good to see Toby not molding because he early topped like 3 times against a 2,100 elo player. That he had like no chance of beating anyway because they get 1.5s every game.
Very true. All right, time to ring the bell because this one is over. We're going to go over to a winner scene here, Sonny, and congratulate that man on the right. If I can find it. And that's not the guy who won it.
Yeah, that's the other one.
The other one.
There he is.
We'll get him. And we got to get belt, too, right? Got to get him with his belt. So let's transition on over there and congratulate your winner for the evening. Retains the Phenoms Championship. Smiling all the way. This is why you got to love Toby. This is why you got to be on cam, right? Because absolutely infectious smile. He's laughing it up. He's like, bro, easiest match of my life. I got this silver belt. Ain't nobody going to take it away from me. Ain't no way, bro. Toby, still your champion. Sonny, this is going to be a tough division. This division has kind of been shaken up a little bit, moving some people up to the heavyweight championship. I think Toby could certainly be a Phenoms champion for a good long run. What do you think?
Yeah, I think he hasn't got much competition at this sort of level. He's very consistent, but he's not a roller, so putting him past Phenoms into the main title feels almost suicidal. Though Somalian will try to challenge that presumption later today.
Absolutely. GG's to our Phenoms champion once again. Toby, thanks so much. And Dewey, thanks for playing as well. Good job, boys. So just like that, Sonny, one match is already done, which means we gotta hope that the next one is gonna be really good. I gotta really hope.
Hopefully.
That the two of them can give us a show. I know your buddy in the UK is here and he's ready to go.
Yeah, we've just got to hope that this match lasts the length of around 2 PAL matches, because that's what Pumpy's still got left to restream.
Well, I guess we'll have to hope that, this is where usually the time where I would have those nice hype videos fill in very well. Well, that's not the case. Instead, you're just going to get the title card. Here it is. Thanks to Dog, of course, Dog Watching Tetris, for making these beautiful cards and making the players look good in big time moments that you're about to see. Now, this one, Sonny, is a big story, honestly. We start all the way back after Reckoning in June, where our former Twitch TV champion, Tugi, won probably one of the best DAS matches you will see this year, or maybe in any year. I don't care what you think. Between Tugi and Leo. They were phenomenal. 5-game transitions, a couple of 29 games. I mean, it was crazy. The gameplay was stellar. So after that was said, Tugi defended the title, and then the next challenger, Louis Scooey, was coming up next, and Tugi kind of felt that, well, I don't think I need to play this guy. So he said, if I have to play, I don't want this belt. I'm kind of tired of everybody asking me to play. I don't want to hear from Ian Keith. I don't want to hear from Tony Dan. I don't want to hear from even friggin' Poopy Old Hag. You guys want to have this belt? Here you go. Do whatever you want. I'm done. So he gave it away, and we decided to have a nice little Twitch TV tournament, which you can see right here. We'll show you the bracket. And Sonny, I found 16 players that I think don't mind having a Twitch TV championship, being on pretty much every show. All of these players are always playing whenever we have it there, and certainly I think all of them would have been worthy enough challengers to be at this moment. But as you can see, the 16 players bracket has gone through the entire gamut, and we have our final 2 players here. So at the top there, 20Dan03 had to go through 3 tough players. Had a Penguin Panic, which honestly made it by the skin of his teeth. He almost blew that one.
Yep.
Choked it.
Yeah, well, to be fair, Penguin Panic does have 1/100th of an elo more elo than Curie, who is a Div 2 player in CTL. So, he's not as bad as the name suggests.
Correct. Absolutely. So, luckily Dan was able to scrounge it out at the end and make it into the second round, where he then wiped the floor with 1 pound Bobby. Bobby didn't have it that day. Bad 19 play. And then they did have a decent game number 3, but Dan blew him out of the water, like 200,000 points ahead going into kill screen. So Dan looked very good. And then, of course, just this past Wednesday, took on his bitter rival, Ian Keith. Those two they are inseparable. They will fight forever. And Dan, victorious this time around, gets to the final here. On the other side of the bracket, Poopy kind of had a little bit of an easier route. Did get to go one-on-one with Noel. Noel wasn't up to his usual standard, kind of had a rough night. So 3-1 there. And then Poopy got the easiest victory ever, had a bye over Reed because Reed was in Hawaii. And I think you would agree, Sonny, that I'd pick Hawaii over playing in this tournament any day, right?
Yeah. It's good. It's nice to look at the bracket and see that you gave Martz and Yeehaw a chance by putting them both in the same round 1 match.
Mm-hmm. Which, if you like to go back and watch that one, last Friday night, Martz and Yeehaw was ages ago. And then, of course, Martz versus Vince was a classic in its own right. If you ever want to hear what toilet flushing sounds like 4 times over. Well, that was the match that we'll watch. And then Poopy and Vince went at it, and Poopy clearly made Vince look like Poopy with a 3-1 win, and leads her here to this moment now. So it will be 20 Dan, as you mentioned, the Tapper versus Poopy, Old Hag, the Dasser. And if we can, we'll head on over.
But their comp play styles are not representative of the stereotypes of their play styles.
Oh, of course. So there you go. That is the lay of the land here for the Twitch TV tournament. So as mentioned, you're going to get Poopy and Dan in moments. He's going to go set it up. As soon as I can find the button. my butt, there it is. Oh my god. I'm all over the place here, Sonny. Oof. You can tell how prepared I am for this.
Yeah.
You're gonna see how well I'm prepared for this.
You need some authentic Sunny restream scenes to get you through everything.
We do. Right.
I've got to imagine that your restream scenes are like the OBS equivalent of spaghetti.
Maybe I'll detonate.
Just a little bit. Just everything pointing everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, and speak of the devil here, the villain is in the house. Good luck, have fun. He wishes our 2 competitors to take over this belt that he no longer wants. So I'm sure, Tookie, you'll enjoy this one. It's
no. Hoogie is the Magnus Carlsen of the Twitch TV Championship belt. Resigned at his peak, essentially.
Well, I'm wondering if he could find a darts player that had a similar situation. Then he probably would equate that to that. But
maybe I wouldn't be able to name a single person who plays darts. So
I knew one, and it was a female, and I can't remember her name anymore. But that's okay.
Good.
All right, so folks, hang in there. We will get this one going. Dan, I'm sure will probably be live. Poopy, hopefully you're live as well. And we can get this one officially started a little earlier than anticipated, but that's okay. We'll still do it. And King will be right back. So hang tight and watch those 2 absolutely beautiful people on the screen for a few moments. And be right back.
Somewhere. Super cool dude.
All right, so for those of you just waiting here, we are going to get set very shortly. Poopy is on the way. Did not expect that the match would go as fast as it did. Neither did we. So it's okay. You know, it's fine. These things happen. And it is what it is. So it's okay. No worries. So just take your time. And I'm sure we'll be seeing you in moments. So stick around. Rita's asking if they are both DAS players. So Poopy is the DAS player, as Sunny had mentioned earlier, with very good high comp scores, usually for DAS, getting that kind of max outs that you see in these competitive games. Dan is a hyper tapper, former hyper tapping keyboard player, now converted into controller, and over the past year since he's done so, has really excelled and gotten back to his very strong ways. He is a friendly stalwart, two-time former Upstarts champion, looking to win the belt. He had mentioned before, would he be the first ever 3-time winner of a belt? And the answer is yes. So, Sonny, if you're here, that's a good trivia question. There have only been 2 players in history that have, well, actually, 1 player in history that has won the 2 different belts, which is Dan Vinke, who we'll see later tonight. But there are 4 players in history that have won a belt twice. So let me see if you can name the 4.
I cannot. I definitely cannot.
Well, I think you can name the one here on the screen. So one you can name one.
Yeah. Yeah. Perhaps.
Perhaps.
The other 3, yeah, I don't know.
Well, let's see if anybody in the chat might know. Rita's saying Jeff. It's a good guess, but Jeff has won a belt once only. He could have been a 2-time belt winner, but he lost in the inaugural championship match to the player that is a 2-time champion. So for those fans in the chat, give the prize to 20Dan03. He has got it there, Sonny, so for future reference.
Yeah.
Dan, Ian, and Mice were all 2-time Upstarts champions. All happened in the same year, 2022, where the belt got hot potatoed between each of them. And, of course, the last name there is someone we haven't seen in quite some time, but he did it twice. And still actually claims to be the official Friendlies champion. He never lost the belt. He gave it up, much like Toogie. And it's Big Sexy Daddy Quaid.
Excellent. Hopefully we'll see him at the CTWC DAS this year. That would be fun. He was good there last year as a commentator.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't know what
he's
Quaid's
good pretty
plans
much
are.
everywhere.
Oh, yeah, of course.
He's an entertaining guy.
You know, I know you wouldn't know this reference, but he's kind of a Tony Romo-esque commentator, for those that are outside of the United States. Tony Romo is a football analyst, former football player, former American football, I should say American football, right? But some of you footballers will get
hand egg.
Yeah, hand egg. Yeah. Oh my word! Yeah, hand eggers out there. Absolute All-Pro, was a stellar quarterback back in the day, and then he's turned. Now he's after he's retired, turned to commentary, and he's an entertaining guy. The guy makes you laugh, he makes you cry, but all around everybody's in consensus. He's great, and that's basically what Quaid was. So take that idea of someone being so good on commentary, and then times that by like 10,000, and that's Tony Romo and Quaid in a nutshell. Alright, so Dan kind of taking a break there. Looks like he's rested his hands there. So you and I can see the behind the scenes right now.
Yeah, we can indeed.
Now, while we're waiting for Poopy
we're
here...
We're watching you.
While we're waiting for Poopy here, why don't we stall a little bit? Let's talk about Dan for a second. You know Dan very well, as kind of mentioned. You said he's in your personal Discord, so that's kind of a rarity that anybody would be there, right? Give me your overall analysis of Dan as a player from when he was a keyboard tapper into a controller player now.
I remember when I first joined the community, I think Dan was like I want to say like a 500k player or something. That was, what, 2.5 years ago? Something like that. But he had a pretty solid rise, I would say. He maxed out not too long after I did, I think a few months. So he's been a max out for a good long while. That was back on keyboard. He transitioned to console. I don't know exactly how long ago. I'm gonna guess somewhere around a year, but I don't know. But he's better now on console than he was on keyboard, and he was pretty good on keyboard. So,
I mean, he was the champion the first time he won the
10 months apparently.
Yeah, when he won the belt the first time, he was a keyboard warrior. He was using that. I think the second time when he beat Ian, he might have still been on keyboard. Dan, you could correct me if you had made the switch over already to controller back in October, right before. Actually, I think you guys played after CTWC. It would have been after CTWC, so late October, early November. That's when they got their rivals match completed, and that was where Dan won the belt there. But definitely in the start of 2023, no, he's been on controller, and he's been, as you said, I have to agree. I think he's better now than he was before.
Yeah. He's very consistent. He's not one of those tappers like that you see gets like a 1.1 and then early tops 3 games in a row. Because there's still a few of those around. They're the stereotypical tapper. And strangely, despite tap being like the most dead of the play styles, that stereotype is still very true. But Dan subverts that expectation because he's very consistent.
Very well said. And then as far as Poopy, who is finally live, going to need a little bit of warm-up time, so that's fine. As far as Poopy goes, you mentioned very, very strong comp game, and I believe you mentioned, is that correct, the gas world record transition in competitive match?
That is correct. Took the title, or the record from Heist, who had a 699k, I remember. Poopy is officially the only person to have a 700k transition in comp with DAS. So.
And do you recall what the exact score was?
I do not. I know it was 7-0 something though.
Very nice.
It wasn't like a 730. I know a few people have had 730s. Dog, Jordan, strangely. He's one of those names that you wouldn't think. Oh yeah, he has a transition world record or whatever, but he does.
Very true. Now let me ask you this question. Do you think Poopy has a higher 700k transition overall from Mart's, or is the Mart's transition, the mythical transition, higher?
I've got to imagine that Mart's 700k transition was whatever his top out score was, right? And then whatever the bare minimum amount of points on 19 to get there, subtract that from his final score, and that was probably his transition score. So like 750 something.
So there you go. All in a nutshell, Poopy's final score was 714,460 for the transition. So that's actually pretty good, but not good enough. Mart's is 750 transition. Yeah. We'll top that because as Sonny mentioned, yeah, probably Mart's had about a 7, probably by like about a 730, and then maybe got a couple of lines in, and sacré bleu, Monsieur Sonny, top out.
Yeah, Mart still does in fact have a higher transition PB than me. I believe. We don't know the exact score of his transition, but it's likely he does.
Yeah.
Because my transition PB is, I think, 702. So
crazy. And also, it's crazy that we have players live and in living color. So we'll give Poopy. We'll give you a couple of minutes for warm up. Of course, I'm sure just coming in. So appreciate you coming to play a little bit earlier. So Poopy and Dan will go at it, and that gives us time, Sonny, to kind of go review some facts. So we are going to go take a look at their facts as soon as I get rid of this slide, and we can move straight on over to this one. So as you can see right there, Sonny, here are the online facts for this, the Twitch TV Championship. This is it. the tournament has finally come to an end. One of these two players will make history and become the second player in Friendlies history to have won 2 different belts. On the left, it is Poopy Old Hag, a former Phenoms champion. Plays with the playstyle as Das, as we just talked about, 1.201 million personal best score. Has a record of 46-27 in the Friendlies universe. Was very, very strong. Has been having some losses along the way recently, but again, as Sonny mentioned, Poopy can be one hell of a competitive player with that consistent type of DAS play. Plays very high level game, so certainly could get a very strong showing to date. As mentioned, has the DAS transition world record for competition and likes to do cosplay. What a shock there, Sonny.
Didn't know that.
There you go. On the right, 20Dan03. His online facts that he's a top player out of the UK. Personal best is 1.167 million score. Friendly's record is a very good 38-15 as well. Very strong indeed. Was at one point had one of the highest win percentages of anyone that had like 30 matches played before, you know, like Dan and Jess started getting more involved and playing quite a bit of games. So still outstanding record. There is a 2-time Upstarts champion and likes the color blue, although I'm being told breaking news or fake news perhaps. Dan's favorite color is red. Did you know that, Sonny?
I did not know that, and I would never have guessed, considering like his room and everything is just blue, much like the lead singer of Eiffel 65. Everything in Dan's life seems to be blue.
Blue dabu-dee, dabu-da indeed. But maybe Dan will look to try to change that color from blue, from red to purple. I'm sure he would love to add that to his resume. So let us take a look and see what's going on over there. We will transition over to the scene and we will see our players there. We'll get a little bit of camera adjustment. But on the left, there is a challenger, or one of the challengers, making all the way to the finals. Here it is, the Poopy Old Hag. She is ready to go. Get that lovely face in camera. And then we have on the right, it is 20Dan03. We'll also give him a little bit of a camera adjust, because we want to see him.
For the viewers, I would like to just mention how scuffed your cam setups are.
Yes, well, that's the easiest way I do it.
So for context, Kingsman has cropped the cams that are on Stencil to be smaller so they fit into his restream scene.
That's correct.
When he could just make his restream scene cams smaller. But
that would be too easy, Sonny. I need to make it difficult.
Of course.
You'll take me to OBS school after this, I'm sure. Thank you.
Yeah, perhaps.
All right, so rules are simple here, Sonny, for those that would like to know how this works. In the Twitch TV Championship, and I should probably flash the damn belt. Why not, right? That's just what they're playing for. They're playing for the Twitch TV Championship.
No, it is.
Rules are very simple. It is 15 and 18 can be selected, because in the Twitch TV Championship division, all skill levels can play, whether you are a 100,000 KPB player or you got a 1.1 million score. It doesn't matter. You guys can fight all you want for that purple belt. It's an open division. Anybody can play for it. Even Marks can play in this division. Oh, Mr. Kingsman, I could possibly win this belt someday. Oh, I would love to play one of them. So even that's the case there, Sonny. So that's why 15 is allowed, but I'm sure we will see 18 all the way from these two stellar players.
Perhaps. I remember back in late 2021, I want to say, in Div 4, me and Dan were in a group where we picked, I think it was level 15 against, I can't remember what the player was, but I managed to convince everyone in the Div to pick level 15 against someone, just because I thought it would be funny to single someone out, and pretty much everyone did. So we have experience with the level 15 starts, even after being max out players, 1.1 players.
Yeah, kind of catches people off guard, but again, I don't even think these players even... Well, Poopy actually could throw a 15. You never know. Poopy is a little cheeky sometimes and has been known to play some 15 games, so this certainly could be an opportunity for her to showcase that. So I'm not sure if SPS is going to be on the table. I believe both players have the both players have the capability to do that. So if players would like to do it, last time Ian Keith offered SPS to Dan in the semifinal match, Dan said no, and worked out in his favor because the RNG for Ian Keith was not the best.
That is standard. Ian does have the worst RNG of any player. So.
And it was a deliberate strategy, said Dan. There you go.
No.
So Ian is in the house. I'm sure he's probably grumbling about that. Like,
the only other player that I can think of that deliberately chooses to not do same piece set, depending on their opponent, is Knight, I want to say. And I always get kind of annoyed when she says no to same piece set versus me, because I'm a roller and she plays DAS. But you know, if she doesn't think she can win normally, then, you know, leave it up to luck, I guess.
Or other means, I guess, right? Well, we won't go there.
Yeah.
We'll leave that alone.
Yeah.
I don't want to open up a whole can of worms here.
Yeah, and then, what was I going to say? I had a point, but you, distracted me there.
Well, you distracted me when you talked about Knight and how easy of a punchline that was, so...
That's fair. Oh yeah, there's some players that just never pick same piece set, and they are the victims of my relentless cyberbullying on Euro Friendlies whenever they play. So, and course, White Monster specifically.
That's very true. Yes, his favorite SPS, poo-poo pieces he calls them.
Yeah.
And for those of you that are, staying up late, if you're a Euro and you want to participate and get roasted by Sunny, please come and do. You can do that every other Wednesday when Sunny is streaming. Here on the ClassicTetris channel, you got to just come to this channel around, usually about 1600, right, Sunny? Usually.
Yeah, something like that. It's usually 1600, sometimes 1700.
Yeah, I think that's 17, maybe 1800 is a sweet spot. If we can.
For the viewers, yeah.
For the I think so. But if you're one of those Euros and you want to play and get cursed out by Sunny and, extremely roasted, then we implore you to come, and Sunny will host one towards the end of the month. So look forward to that.
Yeah.
All right, so he's getting in some final warm-ups again.
Some 29 warm-up, everyone's favorite.
Of course, as a DAS player, you got to be ready for that.
Yeah.
You got a little bit of
now doing 19-3 checkerboard.
Of course.
This is good, to be fair, because it means that Pumpy will definitely be finished with the PAL matches that he's doing by the time this match finishes. So
yeah.
That's something.
And considering that I think I had this match booked when I worked it out with them at about 5 minutes from now, so that's still ahead of time.
Yeah.
Still ahead of time.
Yeah. Dewey versus Hobie went a bit quicker than we expected. And to be fair, I checked the ELO actually for those players, and despite Toby being, the Div 1 player essentially, ELO wise they are actually 2 ELO points apart, Dewey and Toby. Wow. It was closer than it sounded by my description before the match.
Yes. And again,
though I am surprised Toby has that low elo. I feel like he's underrated.
Well, I think what happens is that Toby kind of took a bashing in CTL, so that certainly did bring that down a bit. And whenever we got elo battles happening, Toby's always there, and he's always playing Somalian. So it's like they're just trading elo, and it's like one point gained, 1 point lost.
Yeah, and Somalian had a good season, so he got a load of elo from it. So yeah, it's just kind of Toby's in the receiving end of Somalian's pro roller destroying tapping, apparently.
Apparently, yes.
I'm excited to see Mel HK lose 100 elo over the course of this CTL season, though. That'll be nice.
So you seemed very reserved when Dog got placed into Mel's division.
Yeah.
I guess you can tell the world now your real thoughts on Mel versus Dog. I got to assume you're going to call that one, right?
Oh, I hope so. I would love to. Mel is one of the most entertaining players to commentate, because despite being on the surface a good player, He has some of the worst 18 play that I've ever seen, and still somehow he gets max outs like constantly, despite getting 300k transitions multiple times in sets, multiple times a season. I don't know how he manages it.
He finds some way to do it, but
and on top of that, he's a good friend, and he enjoys cyberbullying Tetris players as much as I do. So
you have that in common, of course.
Exactly. Myself, Mel, Aki, we're in a nice group of people who just insult people because we find it entertaining.
Now let me ask you this: would you try the strat of distracting Dog by making fun of Mel so much that Dog is just laughing like crazy and can't concentrate?
I think that might be a good strat to make the match more interesting. I remember Toogie versus Cheese in I think it was Div 2 the season before Cheese won. I managed to get Cheese to throw a game by describing Toogie's board looking like a cheese grater. That was a fun one. Where Cheese misdropped 4 pieces in a row and immediately topped out during the chase down.
Perfect strat there. So I would love to see Sonny commentating that one, and of course maybe making Dog laugh so much that he actually spills the water all over and misdrops like crazy and tops out. And Mel takes it into the side.
Maybe.
Crazy.
Yeah, maybe. Unlikely, but maybe.
All right, so we have reached. It is 2300 UTC right now, midnight for Sonny in the UK, and we're ready to go. It should be time. Poopy says cold hands still. Well, it's officially game time, so we gotta.
At least it's DAS, so it could be worse.
Indeed.
Cold hands with rolling is kind of painful. So.
All right, so Poopy again.
Same piece set is offered. No, says Dan.
The strategic move.
The intimidation tactic. I think it's more about the mental. It's less about the actual RNG difference. It's about, the disrespect.
And Poopy is pretty much indifferent with SPS. Has also been kind of like, I don't know if I want to play with it. It's not always someone that is wanting to play with it or needing to play with it. So this should be a good one. We'll get players doing their own thing.
Poopy fires back with ready 15.
And there you go. That is viable. It is a viable strat. So Poopy will call a 15. Dan kind of laughing about it. LMAO.
Alright, we've got readies from both players.
Sonny, go ahead. The mind games have begun.
3, 2, 1, Tetris. This will be the first 15 match I've commentated in a few months, I think. Outside of Mark's on Euro Friendlies, but I mean that barely counts as a match.
Well, to be fair, this is the first level 15 start I have seen on a Supershow since I think Rory versus Marks might have been a couple of 15s, and the very first Supershow. I think we had some 15 starts there. So we're talking.
Yeah, that
talking
seems probable.
Talking about 3 years now.
Yeah, a little while. Is rolling? Yeah, Das is just they're a Das player. The rolling is allowed, but typically, if someone's good at rolling, they get too good for this title. So Kingsman doesn't let them play.
Of course not. Building a brand here, right? We need good.
Exactly.
We need good champions. Right?
You need to have good matches. You don't want to have someone like Mal HK coming in, getting 300k transitions, and then still winning into kill screen somehow against DAS players.
Exactly. No, we definitely don't need that. What we do need is a slight score check. Early days here, Sonny 60,000 for Poopy, 64,000 for 20 Dan.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly how much a Tetris is worth on level 15. I want to say 19,200, but
you are correct.
I am correct. There we go.
And Ian, of course, confirming that. But I also know, because I do pick 15 lately, being down in TNP.
Oh yeah, that's fair.
I do like a 15 to kind of start in some cases, just because I feel like it allows me to get that last minute warm up in a match, especially if I'm going to play 2 sets. I might as well get one slow one.
Yeah, I think when I was in a Div 4, as I was mentioning earlier, I think picking 15 against like max out players is a good way to get some unexpected early top outs, because unless you're playing against like some Grand Designs-esque player, they're gonna go aggressive and try and get like a similar score as they would on 18, which is pretty hard because 15's scoring potential is absolutely terrible.
I'd like to welcome in Hunzaid is here, chatting it up with the folks in the chat.
Here we can see on Poopy's side, actually, this is the sort of aggression that will often catch max out players off guard playing level 15, but Poopy is an experienced level 15 player, so I think Poopy knows what they're doing.
Pretty much easy builds here for players right now. 236 for Poopy, 206 for Dan here, Sonny.
Yeah, we've got a 256 is a nice round number. I like scores like that. Dan, on the other hand, up to 245, 131. That's not quite a round number. An unsatisfying one. But both players at 69 lines.
Hey now.
Yeah, I was gonna Bart say the line. You know.
Of course. Well, I mean, you gave me the softball, so I just had to hit it out of the park.
Exactly.
Easy.
Exactly.
So we're looking at a potential 400k transition for Poopy. Sonny, you may or may not know that that's pretty good for a 15 start.
It is. It is very good for a 15 start. The maximum scoring potential. For context, on level 18, a perfect transition will get you around 754,000 points. From a 15 start, you're looking more at a 650, which is not a particularly amazing transition score for going 130 lines perfect.
Which is why a lot of that discussion over the years has been that 15 starts, as fun as they may be and as beautiful as the color, the scoring potential pretty terrible.
Yeah, if you're at a skill level in which you can get to kill screen, then if you want to get a PB, probably do 18 starts.
Yep.
Because 15 starts are bad scoring wise. They're just really bad.
Right, but they're definitely good as far as for your lower level players that are just trying to get a grasp of the game, and you want to at least try to get more attempts in. Or longer attempts in, I should say, rather than like those 18 stars, because I know as in the beginning days for me trying to play 18, I lasted like about 10 seconds. But playing level 15, at least I felt like I can get to 100 lines and maybe something good will happen and I'll just get better and better, which, it eventually did, but took like 40 years or so, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, it can take a while to get used to 18 speeds if you don't have prior Tetris experience, unless you're someone like Dan V, who, just comes in and like max outs in 4 months or whatever. But some people are just too good at games,
Yes.
You're old, you have an excuse for being bad at games.
Yes, because when I was younger, I thought I was pretty good, but apparently not.
Yeah.
And what's really good here, Sonny, is look at that, 506 for
already, yeah.
Yeah, with 9 lines left to go before the transition to 19. Dan is on level 17. He actually is about 8 lines behind, so has some runway to maybe catch up. Certainly behind in the pace regardless, but we'll see.
And this is one of the things I was talking about earlier, is that Poopy is a very pace, heavy DAS player. Whereas typically you associate DAS players with, just playing consistently and getting, 800k into kill screen. Poopy isn't like that. Poopy's like max out or bust, which is rare.
And Dan looked like it was getting a little aggressive, but worked it out with the piece sequence that came in. Would love a long bar for that column.
Ooh, Poopy
3.
dirty Tetris ready.
And there you go.
And gets it.
Yeah, that dirty Tetris for Poop. 608, still working on trying to maintain this board. Dan has a board that is looking pretty decent, just has to fix that center. Gets the T to do that, and now we've got a somewhat decent stack. Gonna look for some tucks to assist. Flat board, but the long bar will come. Tetris 547 for Dan, 622 for Poopy. Poopy starting to bring this down. This is what you were talking about, Sonny. Comp game from Poopy. Looking pretty good.
Yep. Ian in chat says 12 starts. I would like to say that 11 starts are actually optimal for that speed. 12 starts have the worst scoring of the 3, 10, 11, and 12. So if you want to PB, then and you like 15 speeds, start on level 13. That's where you're going to score the most points.
688 for a Poopy Old Hag. 591 for 20 Dan. They are running.
Ooh, Poopy. Misdrop here. This is a troublesome situation. Ooh, another misdrop. I think this is it for Poopy. I don't think you can get a square over that high. No.
Try to quick tap.
695.
Sonny just said 698.80. Yeah, try to quick tap on the square there over on the left there. Sonny could not get it, and that was all she wrote. So Dan, 691 is the score to chase, and you'll have taken advantage of this 15 start.
Dan kind of just lining it out, which is, you know, fair. We'll need to get probably a Tetris and a triple to actually be able to chase it down, but still has plenty of runway, 35 lines or so. On the other hand, board is not sorting itself out nicely.
No, Dan had a bit of a mistap over on the left side, which is what's causing this delay in resolving this situation. I mean, still has time here. We still have to about 40, less than 40,000 points away. So, you know, even when we get to clean this up, we still have level 28. 28 Tetris will win the game. So all Dan really needs to do is just not top out, kind of steady the course here. And we got maybe a dirty situation built.
Oh,
there you go.
What a way to win it.
Dirty Tetris for Dan. This is why, Sonny, I love watching Dan play. The pop-off he just gave you, the excitement that he just had. He lets you know the emotions are running wild. Comes back out with a dirty Tetris to seal it. Oh, of course. And he'll take the first one. Good game number 1 there. GG's.
Yeah. And if you watch like top level players, those kinds of dirty Tetrises, you know, for a roller, that's like standard. If you're a tapper and you're not like 20 hertz, that's like some pretty crazy shit. Getting a dirty Tetris like that.
And welcome in Invictus Rage. He's been hanging out. He's been watching a lot of this lately. This is a best of 5. Level 15 and 18 can be selected. So Poopy selected 15 first. Dan, selection will be yours now. I'm sure he will not pick 15. And has that cheeky comment there, of course, Sonny. You know, we're all right, back to 2023 now. And they are both ready. Go ahead, Sonny. Count them down for game number 2, please.
3, 2, 1, Tetris. I just tabbed in for a brief second into the PAL match to see how long it is, see if Pumpy will be needing to wait or anything, but I immediately saw one of the least satisfying missed adjustments in my life and had to just tab out immediately. So,
would you like to call out the player who made that adjustment, or should we leave that for the VOD?
Well, it was Sidnev versus JDH. You can use your own predictive powers to guess which one missed a very clean adjustment.
Very fair. Meanwhile, Dan looking to try to clean this out. Unfortunate S-Piece came around, has to set this up with a few delayed burns, but nothing he can't handle. 20,000 now for Dan. My eyes gave out for a second. 118,000 for the poopy old hag. With a very
Dan with a real awkward over tap there. Got another rooftop burn to take. Into a couple more delayed burns, but might be able to turn this into a dirty Tetris.
We got some.
It's only a dirty triple, sadly. Ooh, poopy in trouble, yeah. There's no way out of this with Das, I don't think. No. 120k. So it's good that we had the delays, because without them, this wouldn't have quite been on schedule, let's say. A little bit ahead.
We are on par for the fastest Super Show in history. These usually go way too long. But
yeah.
Right now, it is a 2-0 lead for 20 Dan. You have got it.
It's just the power of having the Euro Friendlies host here.
What am I saying? 2-0. Let's see. Oh my god, what am I talking about? Dan, thank God you are paying attention. I'm not looking at. Why do I feel like he had 200,000 points? There's something wrong with my eyes, Sonny. Thank God that Dan is paying attention, and I'm lost here. Dan, you have a ways to go. 120, 840 was the final score. 120.
You're getting old. It's cataracts.
It is. Oh man, that does run in the family too.
Oh, unlucky.
Yeah. Rip.
Because you don't.
Yeah, and I saw Dan's face too. Dan kind of gave that look. He's like, "What are you talking about?" It topped out at 120. I don't have 120, bro. Come on. Gotta get credit where credit due. Dan is very good. He pays very close attention to the matches. He knows what's happening. So
yeah. We don't want one of those Ren situations where
oh my God, yeah.
calls the wrong score.
Now actually, Poopy was the one that Toby had inadvertently early topped out, and when they played their match back at the last Super Show, and Poopy had a top out, still had like about 40,000 points ahead, and Toby just topped out. Even though we did call the right score and said he had a chase down, he just topped out. He thought he had it, but Poopy was
I
very
remember that.
nervous.
I remember that happened in one of I think it was Billy Mack versus Atalito. I remember Billy had a very clean board, was behind by about 30k in the chase down, and then just dead dropped all of his pieces thinking he'd won, and immediately lost the game, unsurprisingly. But in a show of good sport, Atalito early topped at 1 point the next game, so...
There you go. So, very kind there.
Dan saying pace of all time. Yes, the 2017 pace right there. We said
right.
back to 2023, but we're looking at some good old 2018 CTM paces.
We most certainly are. It will be a level 15 start once again. Poopy gonna look to try to keep it slow and maybe upset the tapper. I have to agree with that strat here, Sonny. You gotta try and figure it out. After a very good 15 game and then the 19 kind of just slipped away. Terrible top out here. You don't want to repeat that. Might as well make the game go a little bit longer. And your voice will make it go much better when you count it down.
3, 2, 1, Tetris.
So for the second game tonight here, we have seen a level 15 start. As mentioned, we have not seen 15 starts at a Super Show since 2020. So history's being made, and again, Sonny, we could be seeing history being made after this game, as Dan going to look to try to become the second ever Friendlies player to win 2 different belts in their career, and now be the first player to ever win 3 titles overall.
It's a big match for Dan then.
Yes.
It's weird about I was gonna say it's weird level 15, right? Because you'd think with the slower speeds, the dash would feel a bit faster, you know? But somehow it makes dash look even slower playing on level 15.
Yeah, no, it does. And again, that's kind of why I mentioned before that I like to pick it in matches in the first game and then kind of move away from that, because I just feel like I need to get some kind of momentum and just let it like gradually build for myself, right? So like that 15, as you mentioned, just it's still the same piece movement and the same frame rate that you're talking about from left to right, but at the end of the day, it just feels like you're in molasses.
Yep. Poopy had a little bit of a dependency there, but got a spin. The spin's generally fairly easy to hit on level 15, but you can get thrown off a bit if you don't play 15 at all and early spin.
And as you had mentioned, Sonny, here we are. We have welcomed in the monthly Tetris with a raid party of 22. The CTM PAL event has concluded, so thank you so much. So Pumpy, you get a little bit of a break, and then you're coming right back in the booth. We'll see Pumpy Heart hanging out with me for the final 2 matches of this Super Show.
Ooh, Poopy going for the dirty Tetris here. I'm hoping for the bar, because this will be so sad. I was gonna say it would be a satisfying dirty Tetris right there, but the game did not want to provide it. So.
Actually, almost I think could have had a dirty Tetris just now. Did not adjust the first long bar for the second one that was coming in. I believe an adjustment there would have left with a dirty after the fact. But I mean, if you're down 2-0, Sonny, can't make a mistake now. You just got to be a little safer.
Yeah, and they already have the pace lead, so I think she's comfortable with taking a safer move right now.
Dan at 149, Poopy at 203. Dan gonna slam this Tetris to go to 173, so it's down by a little more than a Tetris. Make it 2 now, 2+ at this juncture. Poopy playing very good. Sonny, how much do you think playing this 15 start is throwing Dan off his game? I mean, clearly the first game seemed like he was able to just hang in there, but now you're going back from 18 to a 15. You can see he's a little behind in the score.
I don't think it's throwing him off too much. I think it can be deceiving to look at someone having bad pace on 15 and think, oh, they've been thrown off by the level, when in reality, people have that kind of pace on level 18 all of the time, and it just looks worse because the scoring's worse in general. I think this is it's a rough game, but it's not like a full-on suffer game.
We're going to get some relief there with the long bar, 288 through 80 lines. Poopy had a very strong game. Had like about close to 450 transition in that first game on the 15 start. Which was pretty insane, and then got an extra 100k points to go to a 550 transition to 19. So looking to try to repeat that somewhat with about 16 lines left. If we go perfect, we'll be maybe a little short.
With 2 Tetrises in a row there, up to 350k at 92 lines, while Dan, with that Tetris, will go up to about 280 at 87 lines. So, Poopy with about a 2 Tetris pace lead, I want to say.
Yeah, kind of waiting for a nice tuck. There it is. That J will fill in beautifully. Go for the T skim to set up another opportunity. Oh, missed the L spin. Maybe got a little impatient there, Sonny. Right? We could have certainly waited for the square to come, but wanted to get that L in there for the spin. Did not pay off. Extra burns here for Dan. Players at transition. 391 for Poopy. 320 for your buddy Dan.
Yeah, the gamble of spins and tucks. It's something that a lot of very good players still do, is they set up, myself included, a lot of these tuck setups, because it seems like it's better, because it's not something that you would have done when you were a newer player. So logically, if you can see it now and couldn't when you were a beginner, then it must be a better move. But in reality, it actually isn't. Stack Rabbit absolutely hates these sorts of tuck setups that a lot of players, including very good players, set up all the time.
And I think if Stack Rabbit doesn't like it, then I don't like it. So I like Stack Rabbit.
Exactly.
We'll be getting into a little trouble here, Sonny. Gotta be very cautious.
Transition coming up very soon here.
Yeah, one more line
Takes
to go.
that flat burn. That will get to the left, reopen the well, get the bar over. Okay, that's resolved things in a very quick pace. Nice speed run dig there.
So here we go, Poopy. Starting to work on management and survival. This is a big game, number 3 here. Sonny, Poopy must stay alive, or it's curtains for her. Dan, behind by a little over 100,000 points, got to slam a Tetris to get under that marker. Certainly, he's looking focused. He knows what he has to do. He's just got to outlast the Dasser. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, and it's not a great board for Poopy here. If that bar came like a piece earlier, it would have been okay, but now we've got some trouble afoot. And then that misdrop, the failed tuck. And Dan is in yet another 19 speeds chase down with a sort of dig situation, but not too much distance to cover.
Unfortunate break there for Poopy Old Hag. Wanted that J tuck, was holding out for a bar, never showed. 494 is the final score. Dan, about a Tetris away or less from making history here, Sonny. He can smell it. He'll take his time. Doesn't need to rush. He's got plenty of lines.
He does indeed.
Triple of the L to go to 489, 490. We need a 495, Dan. He'll take, yeah, he's looking at it. He's telling you, I'm not going to get crazy. Let's play it. And I got it.
Go.
There you go, Sonny. He's done it. Hands into his face, because that young man has just made history. Not only is he now the new Twitch TV champion, but he is also the first ever player in Friendlies history to win 3 belts in his career. Congratulations to you, 20Dan03. Game number 3 is over.
I think the takeaway from this is that if you're from the UK, the optimal name to have is Dan. So, if you want to be good at Tetris and you're called Dan and from the UK, you have a natural advantage.
You most certainly do. Congratulations to that young man right there. I'm going to fix the terrible cropping scene that Sonny doesn't like. And you can see Dan as the new Twitch TV champion, finally, after months of wondering who will be the new purple belt holder and take this brand to big heights. That young man has done it there, Sonny, and not for nothing, I wouldn't have wanted it any other way. This young man certainly embodies the spirit of people that want to play on Tetris Friendlies. That young man will play pretty much any time. If you challenge him, he doesn't say no. Well, now the line is going out the door. People are going to be lining up to challenge him, and the first person that gets a crack is actually Reed, who's here in the chat. Now you know who you got to face if you want that title. Wow. What a revelation, Sonny.
I know. Maybe I'll challenge him. That'll be a fair match.
It would be a fun one, without question.
It would. We should have me versus Burb for the host battle one day.
Loser leaves Friendlies match, right?
Yeah, sure. Good excuse to end Euro Friendlies.
There you go. See, Sonny threw a softball at me earlier, well now I just threw a softball back at you. There you go. Piece of cake.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Dan. What a tremendous job for you. the new Twitch TV champion. Get ready to defend that belt every friggin' week. Best of luck to you, buddy. GG's. Well, Sonny, that was a little bit better than the first one. That one went a little bit longer.
Was?
A little bit, right? I think we had some
the
good transitions.
Yeah, the delays did last longer than either of the two matches.
Well, wouldn't be a friendly stream without delays, so there you go.
Exactly. It's something that you've not necessarily inherited, but it's a commonality between CTL and Tetris Friendlies streams. That they last forever.
That is.
Though now that GD's in charge of them, the CTL draws they seem to be a little bit quicker.
He did a nice job there yesterday. I think you guys did very well. It was 2.5 hours, so I think that was fair enough.
Not too bad. When it was Moo Juice, it would take. Admittedly, there was 9 divisions. It would take 5 hours.
Yes, we'd probably still, if we were doing 9 divisions, that we would be here still streaming right now. It'd be a 24-hour stream.
Yeah. Yeah, something like that. All right,
Mr. Sonny. Well, thank you so much for joining here for the first 2 matches. You got to see some Euros in action and another international. And you're happy
Indeed.
because the Euros come away, and one defends a title, one has earned a title. So that is good stuff. And now maybe we can see the Twitch TV title defended on the Euro Friendly show. I would really love that. And speaking about Euro Friendlies, go ahead, Sonny, plug your stuff so that way everybody knows where to find you.
Yeah, Euro Friendlies is every other Wednesday, usually. This month, bit of a hiatus because I'm moving house, but after that, should be every other week on this channel, the Classic Tetris channel, at 1600-ish UTC on a Wednesday. Reiterate that so people don't forget. I also do a bunch of other stuff, super streams on CTL and all of that jazz, but a bunch of other people do that as well, so you'll never know what you'll get.
Indeed, there you go. So thank you so much, Sonny. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and a good time had by all.
And thank you for having me. And I shall let Pumpy join you in the commentary booth.
That would be wonderful. So thank you, Sonny. Have a good night, and we'll see you,
Goodbye.
Sonny, in a minute. Bye-bye. So there you go. That was Sonny Disposition. As mentioned, you can find him here on the ClassicTetris channel hosting the Euro Friendlies events that go on every other Wednesday. He'll be back at the end of the month, taking a little bit of a hiatus at this time, taking a vacation in the realm of that. So he'll get a little break, and then he'll be back ready to go full force for the remainder of the year. I can't wait. So what we're going to do is we're going to end prediction. We choose the outcome. A lot of people choosing Poopy Old Hag as the potential winner. Well, we're going to complete the prediction and give it to 20 Dan 03. Alrighty then. So there you go. And we're going to get Pumpy in here in just a moment. King's going to reset a little bit so that way we could just go straight into the next match, which you can see here on the screen. I will post that here in just a second. So if you can hang with me. We got 2 matches done, 2 to go. And it's a pretty good one. Transition on over. You're going to get the Upstarts Championship coming up next. Peyton, the real heel, has been waiting for the moment to get this opportunity to play for a bronze belt, and the moment has come. It's gone a long, distant journey, and what better way to try to reach that goal than to go through the standard now of the Upstarts division. The Maestro, absolutely unstoppable in this division. No one has been able to crack Mice. And Mice is going to look to defend yet again that wonderful bronze belt. Formerly known as the Das Revolution, now he is evolved into the ultimate Das player. That match is going to be coming up in moments. Pumpy again will join me, and then we'll have the main event, the championships. Malian and Dan Vinke will go one-on-one shortly after that. So plenty more to come. Stay tuned. We're going to take a quick ad break. For those of you that are subscribers, enjoy the synthwave music you're hearing. For you that don't have subs, we'll get one today before it's too late, because the King's about to take an ad break. I'll see you back on the other side in a bit. All right, so we are back now. Ladies and gentlemen, ad break is over. The time for talk is about to be over. So here we are. It is the Class of Champions. Second half of the show is about to take place. It is an upstarts, a battle that will go perhaps above and beyond our expectations. It is the real heel, Peyton, going against the two-time upstarts champion, the DAS Evolution now, the Maestro. And with me to call this epic clash of Dassers is a DAS player in his own right, but he is way down in the totem pole of the DAS play. But he's still eligible to try to play for a Twitch TV championship. It's Mr. Elo himself, everybody's favorite in the ClassicTetris community, Mr. Pumpy Hart. Welcome in, Pumpy!
King, thanks for having me. I think they call it the ass play style that I'm at. I think that's the one it is. But
yeah, I think you and I are both in that same skill level. That's great. a lot of ass being shown there. What?
But so glad to be here, meeting Maestro and Peyton both this year. Honored to call this match and any others that we have going up here too. So thanks for having me.
Yeah, you get the main event as well with me. We're gonna get to see Rollers, Tapper, Roller, Somalian versus Dan Vinky, who is starting to become a favorite to maybe make top 8 at CTWC. But we're gonna talk about these two players. We haven't seen Peyton in a while since took a month break recently to kind of recharge and whatnot. But through that month is basically the last person standing in the Upstarts division. Nobody has been able to cut down Mice. Everyone has had a chance to go one-on-one, and each one has been cut down, including the live event that you were attending. We got to see our first ever live friendlies event. Mice defending the championship against Madi right there in your face. And I mean, Pumpy, you think Peyton, maybe that time off could serve them well, or will Mice just continue to run roughshod over everybody?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. I mean, with the month break, you think that you can reset and maybe come back with a healthier attitude towards competition, you know, perhaps. But on the flip side, like, Maestro's firing on all cylinders. Really hasn't missed a beat, getting the highest seed at the National DAS tournament as well. So it's going to be a tough challenge here for Peyton. But I don't know, you know, you take a break, who knows what will happen during that. We'll see.
We most certainly will see. And let's kind of run through the tail of the tape, or as how we call it in the community, the online facts. That's kind of a tribute to you, right, Pumpy? Something like that.
Oh, yeah.
So here we go.
Something
Like that. Some online facts about our players. We got Peyton on the left, the challenger, is a DAS player, according to the profile. Has a 1.65 million PB score. Current friendlies record is 13-20. As mentioned, it's kind of taken some time off and been some tough games that Peyton has played. But in Peyton's last appearance, which we saw was about the Upstarts Gauntlet a while back, had a tremendous effort and really played well in that. Almost was able to become a #1 contender. Just kind of ran into Ryan Ambergen. Lost by just like, I think it was one burn in that match. Just one burn. Was less than a line clear really needed, and just couldn't get it. But now gets a shot today. Notable achievement was finished in the top 4 of the CTWC Northeast Regional that happened last year. And I'm not sure Peyton is looking to attend that one this year again, but certainly could make that again. And nickname here, Pumpy, is the Real Heel.
I'm writing that one down. The Real Heel. All right.
The Real Heel. You know what a heel is, Pump?
I got a couple of them, but I imagine that's not the ones that we're talking about.
No, of course, that's good old wrestling terminology for a villain, a bad guy. Call them heels. Right. Yeah, you call them a heel. So, so Peyton
learning.
Yeah, Peyton has kind of gone over to the dark side, whereas the young man on the right there, Maestro, is the light of DAS, according to him. Is the DAS player, 1.172 million PB score, has a 46-33 record in the Friendlies universe. 2-time Upstart champion, of course, notable achievement there. And as Pumpy mentioned, did get first seed at the Lone Star DAS tournament. And the new nickname now here, Pumpy. Former of the DAS Revolution, he claimed it live and in person at the Shoal Creek Saloon. He is no longer a revolutionary player. He is an evolutionary in this community. Tremendous job by Mice.
Absolutely, and I think just like shifting the perspective of with that revolution to evolution, and go back and watch the speech that he gave. Brought down the house and almost brought down the PA system too when he declared it. But very excited to see this next chapter in Maestro's career. He's been a player with chapters. Was a tapper, switched to DAS, got better as a player with DAS. The ELO went up as well. The PBs eventually went up as and you know, here making another statement as the evolution. Just got one little person in the way of that Peyton coming back. The Real Heel. All right.
The Real Heel, indeed. So players are live there. Just gonna adjust some cameras here.
No, my southern accent. The Real Heel. Right.
Not Real Heel.
Yeah. Gotta be careful with that one.
Was that like your Elvis impression? The Real Heel. Pumpy's practically eating his mic over there.
It slips into your march. Right, it's very careful. You gotta be careful with that.
Yeah, I'm just so glad. Yeah, I'm just so glad I brought that to the community. That everybody's trying to imitate Marks these days. That's amazing.
It is, yeah. March is around and kicking. I saw him in chat, so shout out to you.
I know.
Go ahead.
Mr. Kingsman, how can you not have Mr. Friendlies and the Super Show? That doesn't make any sense, man. That's not right. That's not fair.
Did he ask you if he could play tonight? Last time I was on, he asked if.
He did ask if the Super Show was tonight, because if it wasn't, then he would have looked to try to schedule a match as always. But
that's right. And I did check right before Maestro confirming that this is the first Tetris of the weekend for them. They're gonna go to Ohio and play some more.
Excellent.
Right after this. So Ohio, the World Puzzle League, CTWC Regional happening this weekend, the Phoenix Super Regional happening this weekend. A lot of Tetris action coming to you at this channel. Turn on those notifications. Get that bell.
Get that bell going. Make sure you get the subs here so you can avoid the ad breaks that are going to go on throughout the weekend. There's a lot of Tetris action. And why not? Get a two for, right, Pumpy? Get the sub on here. And then, of course, on CT2, because that's where all the good action is going to be happening as well in Ohio. So, a lot of great stuff. A lot of great stuff. And that's why we got the show going on tonight. This is kind of like the kickoff to the weekend, Pumpy. This is a big-time fight with Dassers. And, of course, we're going to see if players would like to use SPS. Mike's getting his final warm-up of level 18 in. And we'll see if players would like to play with that.
I did notice, okay, it looks like Maestro's done. I did notice Maestro a fan of long warm-ups. Very, we'll go 90 lines on 18 and really get the timings exactly to where he's satisfied. So part of the evolution, I imagine, as well. Not one of these, warm up on 19 and get a couple, or do some B type. You see with Dash warm ups, you'll see some B type, and Maestro's like, nah, I'm gonna get this 18 until I feel good.
Exactly. Now, everybody has their own kind of warm-up type of regimen that's done, so whatever works for each player. I mean, I used to do B-type warm-ups all the time before a match, and then I found that really maybe moving over to 19 warm-up, you got to find whatever works for you. Everybody's a little different, and I'm still actually trying to find my perfect warm-up regimen. I can't get it down. I can't get it down.
Maybe we should be the ones talking about it. All right, so it looks like Maestro's down for SPS if Peyton responds and is okay with that. I think we'll get some same pieces going.
Right,
Maestro saying warm up never done.
All right, so they seem to be pretty indifferent here. So Mike says SPS it is the champ, so he should have the selection, and we'll give it to them. So we'll pin that in the chat. For those of you that would like to play along, I know Poopy Old Hag already said would love to do that. You can do that if you have the capability to play with same piece sets. The seed you'll place will be F35387. That is F for Frank. The number 35387. 87 was a good year there, Pompey, if you didn't know.
It's about 5 years before my time, so I didn't know about it. So thanks for the update.
And then it was also 2 years before NES Tetris was released. So there you go.
Oh yeah. 87, so 88 would have been a presidential election.
That is correct.
87, yeah. Nothing to note. I think nothing happened in 1987. That's right. If it happened before I was born. Oh, and Maestro showing off the belt.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Hoping he brings it with him to Columbus, Ohio, if he can retain tonight. They have readies in their SPS program. Pumpy, please count them down for the first one.
Here we go. Game number 1 in 3, 2, 1. Tetris.
And we have the correct sequence falling, and players have placed their pieces accordingly.
We got a little. Oh, until that Z piece, we actually had a little bit of simul Tetris. Back in the exact same. He's going to create their bar dependency. He gets a bar to fill in.
And you can kind of see there, Peyton was shaking their head, did not like the placements that were made, and ended up costing Peyton. Did not get the Tetris in at the time that Mice did, but then Mice couldn't get the Tetris that Peyton did later on. So they've exchanged 25,000 for Peyton, 27,000 for Mice. Peyton in a little bit of a situation.
Needs an LJ or a bar. L's great for that stack. Sequence not being very kind to either player here.
Oh, we're getting a little aggressive on Peyton's side. Gonna pay off. Dirty! A Tetris and the emotion here, Bumpy. The emotion evoked from Peyton right there went all in very early on, and it paid off.
I think they knew. I think they did that one for you, King. I think they wanted to hear there. And another one! There you go, just like that.
Oh my word.
Feeling the oats tonight. 107 for Maestro, 104 for Peyton. Peyton had to be aggressive or else would have fallen behind here early. Nicely done.
And that's a pretty interesting strat right there, going aggressive early on. Some people would probably say, well, you know, it's the first game. Why not just kind of get into a rhythm? Don't let yourself give it a gift early on. But others will say, why not, right? If you can give one away, you still have two more, so might as well.
That's right. And it kind of sets the tone for the match, right? And this is a pretty asynchronous game, you know, you just get the highest score, and you know, but there's a lot to say. That's the reason that Dog always comes out on top. A lot of clutch factor involved, and a lot of, I think there is just a little bit of that mental game. If you can force the aggression to get started, maybe throw the other player off, you know, it always kicks in somehow.
It most certainly does. And I think it's you, Pumpy, that when you restream, or we've heard you before talk about it, is that you always quote JD, right? I believe you're the one who quotes JD about how important the opening of the game is, and how you want to come out clean and not get into trouble early on, because then it's just going to kind of continue on with you throughout the rest of the game.
That's right. JD definitely one of the earlier players to emphasize the modern openings and just knowing how to get a clean stack from whatever the pieces give to you. And he always valued that, and I think that's why he always set the tone right at the beginning in so many of his matches.
Mice making adjustments here. 292 on the right side. 311 out of Tetris to go to 334. Peyton, after a bit of a rough beginning, those dirty Tetrises have got them excited and infused, and is rocking and rolling right now. Looking really good after a month layoff here, Pump.
Right, and hits the S-spin. Feeling, yeah, I don't know. There's something about Peyton. Peyton feels good right now. You gotta think Peyton feels pretty good at 380 at 83 lines. Maestro not playing a terrible game, 320 at 80. But Peyton really coming out of the gate strong here.
I'd like to give a shout out to Varchild here, Bumpy. Subscribe, tier 1 on this channel for 3 months. Currently on a 2-month streak, so thank you so much, Varchild. Apparently, I anniversaried. Is that a word?
Is that a word? I think it is. Yeah. I celebrated an anniversary here recently, and I think you did too, King.
I did, yeah. What have I in Austin, Texas? Where else would I have spent an anniversary, right? When the wife says, "Hey, let's go to Aruba for our anniversary," I said, "Nah, I'm gonna go to Austin, Texas."
Just as hot, and you know, there's a couple things to do in Austin, but it's not, you know, it's. I did a whole week of touristy stuff last year. You know, there's definitely things to do, but maybe not the beach aesthetic. Perhaps,
yeah. Although she did have a very nice time, and she felt really bad for you, Pumpy. She felt so bad for you. Interesting T-spin setup there for Mice. Just wanted to call that. That was an intentional setup for those that didn't see that. And then he had a dirty Tetris on the right side there. But you know, real quick, let me get a score check. The pace on this one here from Peyton is insane. 522 at 113 lines to Mice's 410. Mice all of a sudden down over 100,000 points.
Mice feeling the pressure, going with that column 2. Probably the worst column to build a Tetris in. You ask many players, they say column 2 is just the worst. You got to spend a bar to get Tetris ready, and then you have to move it to the left side, so it's even worse than column 9.
Alright, so interesting long bar dependency being built up here. Peyton will not get a dirty this time. We'll get the split triple and a safety double. We're going to transition in. Doesn't go long bar flat there, but we'll take... Oh, almost misdropped that L piece. Peyton looks like we could be smoothing it out momentarily. Mice at 469. Hey now, down 117,000 points. But you know, Pumpy, Mice certainly, he stays focused, doesn't get concerned about that. He knows he relies on his dash play at these high speeds to get him through. And right now, Peyton in a little bit of a pickle.
That bar dependency up high in column 4. Bar is gonna come. Okay. Yo, got another bar dependency.
Those vaults on the left side for Peyton with those S's have been really clutch. Done it a couple times already in this first game. Gets the T all the way over, my word.
Wasn't confident about getting that bar into column 2.
Wow.
Still stuck in a dig, but look at that. Maestro is catching up. 541 facing 613.
Yeah, but players kind of just trying to get their boards back in order. Mice will be first to get clean. Now I'm going to look to try to get Tetris ready. Is so. Lombard, bang, Tetris. Mice at 573 starting to catch us. Pumpy just said. Peyton still digging their heart out. 623 staying alive. Get the S over, man. What a clutch play there, Pumpy.
Hangarang, and that might be it. But 627. Peyton almost out of it. Oh no! Those Z pieces at the worst time.
Ooh, interesting placement of that J. I thought we were going to go over in column 7-8. Not do so. Nasty S piece. There's a good Z piece to take the double. Left side. Oh my god. Zipped over. Crazy placements here. We got ourselves a tight one, Pumpy. There comes a dirty Tetris on row 3 for Mice. 643 is only 3,000 points separated. This one has gotten tight, which means it is a neck alert, Pump. Oh, we got a good one.
Oh, nice. It is a neck alert. 4,000 points separating him. Are you kidding me? And Mice actually a little bit behind in lines, about 10 lines behind. So if you're Maestro, you gotta like your pace right now. With Peyton slowing down, transition nearly 600k and now 690 at level 26. Allowing Maestro to get back into this. Peyton is cleaning up for the highest scoring levels though. Level 27. 28.
Got that square all the way to the left side, but kind of holding out for the long bar. Does not come in time. Has to close the well again. That left side is really tough right now here, Pumpy. Now, Mice hasn't caught it yet.
Peyton's done. 707. Maestro with a chase down 708 and has to deal with the same sequence.
It'll be interesting to see how Mice is going to fare here. Wants
Bar
something.
dependency.
Maybe also thinking L in there. Gets the flat T for the burn. Mice needs 708 for this first one. And time starting to look interesting. We're going to get doubles and triples here. Bumpy are extremely huge.
Gotta do it. Gotta do it on this burn down. And I think that... So tight.
Oh my god.
Hey,
we only got one more burn.
Double.
We need a triple here. Mice needs the triple or
He's
build
gonna set up for it. He's gonna take the triple.
It got it! Wow, Mice pulled it off. Knew exactly. Didn't need to build for the Tetris. The triple was worth over 9,000 points at that juncture. Was at 702, 711. Give me the Slurpee and hand it over to Mice. Oh, the excitement there, Pumpy. What a game number 1 from both. GG's.
Photo finish. Yeah, you did the math quicker than I could. Maestro knew it before both of us. Went for that triple to take it down. Are you kidding me? Digging through 27 and 28 to take the chase down. GG's.
Excellent game number 1. We're going to go to the next seed. Players increment your first 2 characters. So we're going to go to a 0-4. Mike says lucky. I think skilled, really, would be the appropriate word. Wouldn't you say, Pump?
That's right. That's what the evolution is. It would have been lucky a month ago. Now, skill. Calculated.
1 Pound Bobby in the house says, wow! It's crazy.
Wow. Vartra with the photo finish there.
How appropriate. And the, of course, the Bidwell. Yeah!
Is that a? We gotta get that soundboard. Where is that? We gotta get.
Oh, it's somewhere. In 3, 2, 1, Tetris. Let's do it.
What year was that made?
The GIF with Bidwell. That was that was from the 2015 NWC championships when he advanced to the next round, winning the Legend of Zelda speed run they had there. Actually defeated the Mexican runner, if you didn't know that story, Pump.
Whoa, I didn't know any of this. This is phenomenal.
Oh my god, well, that would be a perfect segue for Pumpy maybe to watch the Best of 99, Season 3 right now, because we got Jeff and Alex Kerr are going at it in that tremendous series, as they just wrapped up round 5 recently. We got 6 more weeks of Jeff and Alex to go. But in one of the weeks there, Pump, I think it's week 2, if you want to check out the VOD, okay. Bidwell explains the story of how that moment occurred for him at the NWC 2015, and one of his favorite moments in life. That he said he felt like a kid again, and just he let it all out, tears flowing, that he advanced to the next round, and then it promptly got eliminated after that.
Yeah, that's typically how it works, right? You make a huge upset. And Peyton, 18 right now, trying to give us something special here.
I'm not being fair right now. There we go. There's the dirty Tetris for Peyton down the middle. 101,000 in the books. Mice at 85,000 has a nice clean board, and we'll get the Tetris to go to 108. So both players have weathered the storm here, Pumpy. They are looking good. And so far, the first game, tremendous. Wow, what a photo finish, as you said. And very good. Already best game of the night.
Oh, great. Well, I came in at the right time then. Sounds like. Yeah, that's right. Oh, so this Best of 99, you said I could watch it. Wait, I have to dig through the VODs on Twitch to figure it out?
Well, you know, the great thing about that in this day and age here, Pumpy, is that if you're not a fan of digging through all those hundreds of thousands of videos on Twitch that CTWC has in their archive, well, you can do the easiest thing and just head on over to YouTube, because ClassicTetris has a YouTube channel. You head on over there, just search for ClassicTetris, you'll find us, and you'll find the latest episode, round number 4 of the Best of 99, as that'll be presented a week behind for the Twitch one, but Vince might get you a little early sneak peek there too. But yeah, if you want to go back and watch round 1, round 2, round 3, round 4, they're all up there right now. So head on over and give a sub to that channel, and make sure you get the notifications, and check your subscriptions, because you never know when good content's coming out.
I think it's great. I think that was the other Best of 99s posted anywhere? Maybe so. But it's so good to see it on. I don't know. I think that the players that you brought in with Jeff and the next, with Alex and Jeff, I think that's just great. So yeah, I will definitely go do that right after this. I will watch some Best of 99.
That's our closing news as we continue to watch this match. Continuing on, it's unfolding. 233 for the real heel, 234 for Mice, as Pumpy just mentioned. We already continue the neck alerts happening here. We just don't stop. This is a very necky game from both players.
Necky. Someone corrected my pronunciation on that earlier tonight. Necky.
How is that? How is that pronounced by the Europeans? I know you were doing some PAL tournament there. Very nice to see that back in action.
Yeah, I mean, it makes 18 look a lot slower than it actually is now that you see the fast 18 of PAL, and Peyton wishes 18 was a little slower right now, trying to get out of this. Up at the very top here, King.
Nice job by Peyton for the split double. Needed a square. How rare do people say that? Really could use
Needs another square.
Oh, of course, comes one piece too late. There's a hanger-ring square on the right, and Peyton is going to top out at 249, unfortunately. Mice at 292 has already accomplished the win, so game number 2 will belong to him. Unfortunate there. That would have been really exciting if Peyton had gotten the right piece sequence there. That squares would have come just one piece earlier, would have burned him out. I'm sure he would have been able to get it over left, and then just waiting on the long bar for the relief, but no dice there.
Cool game. This one piece preview, not 7-bag, Terrible. Why did we play this one? Why did we play this version? Something with 1987? Is that the key to all this?
Something like that, yeah.
1989.
All right, seed will be incremented to 1-5 players. 1-5 will be the seed. I will enter that in the chat, so that way those that would like to play at home can do so. But we all had earlier played the first seed and only got 700k, topped out, did not even beat the player score, so. I'd like to thank Marty for the raid party of 2 coming over to the VIP booth, and you can watch this one unfold as Mice 1 win away from retaining the title. Peyton trying to get the reverse sweep hype going. Pumpy, the honors are yours. Count them down for this crucial game.
Let's go. Game number 3. Crucial. In 3, 2, 1. Tetris. And there you go. Poopy playing along at home. Also early topped in game 2. So it must be something in the water with that seed.
Might be. Or it just might be that Maestro is really good at this game.
Yeah. We haven't really seen Maestro. We had that little bit of slowdown in game 1, but honestly, looking pretty much in form. And it wasn't really much of a slowdown as Peyton just had the pace and on 18.
And I had a conversation with Mice back at Lone Star there, Pumpy, and Mice had kind of told me wanted to slow down a little bit. Felt maybe that Tetris fatigue was starting to set in a little bit. You know how everybody gets at some point.
Mm-hmm.
You play a lot of matches, you're participating in tournaments and stuff like that. You kind of need a little break, much like Peyton needing a little bit of a break right now to get out of this mess. This board not in the best of situations.
I don't know. Oh, gets that bar over. Last second quick tap for Peyton. Needs an LJ. L's gonna come. Definitely survivable for Peyton. Has to learn King's favorite new move, the long bar flat.
Mm-hmm. Really would have loved an S. Got the Z piece instead. Of course, this game going to be very cruel to players. L and the J. Those are good pieces here, Pump. There's the long bar flat. Peyton's listening. And look at that dig out. What a dig out here, Pumpy, from the real heel. And a Tetris to boot. Let's go.
There it is. Back to feeling that out. We lost a little bit of that character that Peyton was throwing on in game number 2, right? In game 1, sort of, macho, feeling the oats and everything during those dirty Tetrises on 18, really maximizing that pace. And we'll see if that Gustavo comes back for Peyton here in game 3. Might need it. Maestro's opened up a little bit of a lead here. 177 facing 136. Couple Tetrises different.
Indeed, but again, we're at the early phase of this game, not even halfway through. There's a little bit of that Gustavo, as Peyton had mentioned. A little bit of a fist pump going on too from Peyton. Love it.
That's right.
So,
and I gotta be honest, you were mentioning wrestling and real heel and all that heels, and I still don't understand. But okay, you were mentioning that. You need more of that. We need more of that. We need more of the charisma, more of the attitude, more of the characters in Classic. Seeing Peyton come back with that. Might need it right now to get out of this. Long bar into column 2. Has to go flat. Not gonna happen. Tops out at 183. Oh.
Unfortunate ending right there. 183 for the real heel. Gave us a bit of a show. I like that. As Pumpy had mentioned, the Gustavo and the characterization that we've seen. That's exactly what we want to see, and that's what we want to have from our players online. Give us that feel. Give us a reason to root for you. And, talking about that young man there on the right has sealed the deal. He is someone that has been doing that for some time and really has turned his career around because of that, Pumpy. Once Mice got out of his shell, started doing the promos, started letting people know how he really feels, look at the young man he's become, the type of character that we've needed. The Upstarts champion retains the title 3-0 to continue the sweeps going on tonight.
GG's. Yeah, I think we're dealing with the Tetris scene nowadays. We have a lot of young people really trying to figure out just how life works, and they're playing this Tetris game. And so there's a lot of, it's very easy, especially in a very isolated game like this. So you just sit there, you grind for high scores and hope your score's higher. Easy to slunk back and not be a character. So Maestro going out, taking risks, and I think being rewarded, getting the fruits of the spoils. A sweep here tonight, retain the belt.
There he is. We've got a PNG belt to show you the bronze, but he's got the real one there for you. It was delivered to him, hand delivered in Austin, Texas. So I'm gonna actually put that one away because he's gonna show you the real one. There he is. He holds that so proudly there, Pumpy. He loves that belt. It means a lot to him to carry a brand and be recognized as a champion and a champion of DAS. It gives you the thumbs up. The Maestro retains that belt. Been through a war and a half, but I'm sure he'll get it polished up and make it look really, really spiffy for when he gets to Ohio this weekend. He can wear it proudly, live for the crowd there. Pumpy, what a job by Mice tonight.
Yeah, incredible. That triple in game 1 to seal it. We were talking about earlier about how the attitudes of the players do impact. I think that was almost like a gut punch for Peyton, watching the singles and doubles, and then Maestro clinches it with a triple. Knew exactly what was needed, and Maestro sort of set the tone from there on. A little bit of early top outs from Peyton. Maestro retains the belt. GG's. Now, King, was that like a diaper on the front of the belt? What was that white substance? It was what was that?
No, it was like some nice shine that we put on there to coat the front of the belt, so that way the PNG logo can come out shining nice. So that's what that was. It was.
Oh, I see. Okay, so it was not a cloth diaper.
No, most likely not. No, that's
okay.
That's not a caca belt there, Pompey. It's not a caca belt.
I thought upstarts, and I'm like trying to understand, like kindergarten, preschool, like what are we dealing with here?
What we're dealing with is a $2 budget. That's what we're dealing with. So.
I see.
Oh my God. Well, GG's to Mice. Done it again. The upstarts division. Maybe it's time for him to move up there, Pump. I think maybe. I don't think there's anyone that could stand in his way.
Yeah, who's left? Who's left in the upstarts division who could make a challenge? I think it's, how many times does he have to defend this belt, before he can retire it or move on? I think Reed wanted the challenge. Is that right? Yeah.
Well, there you go, Pumpy. Of course, the Thunder. Yes, that would probably be someone that you could see in the near future as a potential contender there. But as you know, Pumpy, this is the Friendlies universe. We build storylines and building characters so that way you can root for them. So certainly that could be happening down the road for the Upstarts title.
Right. Meister in chat, I feel whoever wants this belt must beat me. I am the ultimate upstart.
I think that's so true. I mean, he embodies it, as mentioned. Mm-hmm. He thrives on it. And again, Pumpy, I'll tell you, Maestro making his very first promo when he was cutting it on Dan back at the Euro Clash over a year ago really turned the table for him, gave him that oomph you need. Like, he was a great player before that, obviously goes back to a keyboard tapping and then changed the playstyle to DAS after that. He was a good player, but adding that little extra oomph to the character and giving him some spice certainly has put him on the map in front of many people's eyes.
That's right. I mean, people know who Maestro is, like random tapper. Okay, how many random tappers are out there, coming back, switching back to DAS, getting better along with it, alongside the character. Really embodying the true spirit of a Tetris player here. So, and doing great things, and not just in the Friendlies universe, but also in other tournaments. It's gonna be tomorrow at the Ohio qualifier. So, or what do we call those? Regionals? I don't know, something like that.
Regional. Yeah. Well, I guess it's the WPL Championship is what it's being called, right? I guess.
Oh, the WPL CTWC champion.
That's right. And speaking about CTWC here, Pumpy, we can kind of segue into the main event. A match that certainly I'm looking forward to, because these are two players that are kind of in different paths in their Tetris career, but they are going to clash this very moment. And certainly we can talk about CTWC because both have been there and both can certainly do very well, including our Friendlies champion on the right. It's going to be Somalian captain, the challenger, going against Dan V, although he's known as Dan Vinky here in the Friendlies universe. He's trying to rebrand himself, be known out there differently, but at the end of the day, he's Mr. Vinky here. He's our Friendlies champion. His first title defense here, Pumpy, said he beat Huff back at our Supershow in June, defeating Huff's long-time reign of 547 days. Well, Dan Vinky now will get his first defense against a good friend of his, someone that's been surprising over the last couple of months, including the most recent CTL season, making it to the playoff, which a lot of people didn't imagine was going to happen. Somalian captain. What you know about these guys here, Pumps?
Right, Somalian has ultimate memer, just puts the most crazy streams on. So give like Captain RR a follow if you just want to walk into something wild. But good, he also plays non-stop. He's like streaming all the time. And I know a couple more things, but I'll save them for the match here. But I will say, very actual, all the memes and everything aside, a very kind individual, meeting him in person, just like so many people in this scene. So don't let that Somalian pirate exterior shy you away. And then Dan V. I'm Dan. I know really well. We work together, uploading YouTube videos for CTM. He and I probably have uploaded about the same amount of videos now. Dan's been really cranking it out here recently, and really, again, you guys, just a kind person, very easy to work with, and again, turning on something new this year. Already has 2 CTWC UK belts under, going back again in a week. To claim that title, but I think Dan is setting his eyes for that glittering gold trophy in Portland, and definitely one to watch out for. Somalian could too, right? Somalian's running CTL. Something finally clicked with all those meme streams. He started getting actually playing good. I couldn't believe it. So, but we'll see. We'll see who can emerge victorious tonight. Now, Dan V is the one who lost the Twitch TV. Weren't you going to retire it and Dan lost? Is that right? Am I remembering this correctly?
Well, you are remembering something, yeah. Well, you remember that you were there to witness that.
I was there.
That crazy event that happened. So it was basically Dan had an unbeaten streak of 16 matches in friendlies. He was the Twitch TV champion, and he said he wanted to break the streak because he had tied the all-time friendlies record with Jeff. Both of them had a 16-match unbeaten streak at one point. Jeff, obviously, in the early days of friendlies, and Dan in the more recent era. And he said, I want to break the streak against the man that owns the streak. It was poetic justice he wanted. And they had the challenge. We had that in the double header that we did, that special friendly with the Eric and Poke match, which was amazing to watch. And then Dan decided to fiddle around with his controller and said, King, I think I messed up my controller. Oh, it's not checking in my inputs. Something's wrong with it. So he resorted to tap for the match, and since he hadn't been tapping in several months, he had some arm fatigue and he blew it. And Jeff defeated him 3-1 in an amazing feat. But that kind of allowed Dan to really grow again as a player and moved up to the heavyweight championship. And he's been on a tear, as mentioned. He was the fastest Masters champion going into facing Huff at the title, and he's just been on a tear. And I think, Pumpy, in all honesty, that young man right there on the right, as much as we meme and stuff like that, you got to put him up there as a potential world champion.
Yeah, I think last year you say, okay, Dan V's a dark horse. I think Somalian's dark horse this year. No, I think he's upper tier. Definitely going to compete at this year's tournament, and we'll see him compete CTWC UK. I believe it's not this weekend, but the next weekend. I think it's coming up really soon here, so you'll see him play there too and look to three-peat. I don't think that's ever been done in the UK's history either. Got some tough competition, but I don't know. Like you said, I think Dan V certainly reaching the top echelon of players. Definitely going to make a splash at CTWC this year. Of
course, you are right. And, Pumpy, you're such a good co-commentator. We can just quickly move on over to this ad because we still got a little time before we start the match. You can see right there, as Pumpy mentioned, we do have big matches going on this weekend with the regionals here in North America, in Phoenix and Ohio happening this weekend. But next weekend, as Pumpy mentioned, CTWC UK. Can't forget about our Euro friends that are probably staying up watching right now. That is happening in Manchester on Saturday the 19th and Sunday the 20th of August. You can see it right there, live tournament, official CTWC regional event, plus Game Boy Side Tetris event there for those that like that. At the One Up in Didsbury, Manchester. So for more information, you got to go to ClassicTetrisUK.com, or you can go to their bit.ly CTUK Discord to join over there for additional information on how to participate. They have they'll have regional stations there, right? The 1 hour, 2 hour blocks that they'll do over there. You can get a rental station, or you can just wait in line and do whatever. Hang out. It's a big day. It's a long day, and they are looking forward to it. And if you'd like to help contribute, you can head on over there to streamlabs.com/HEPSXD1tip, because those four, Pumpy, they're trying to get to CTWC. Dan and SV have said they're going. Peps and his brother, Mr. Shadow, are also looking to go.
I had no idea they were brothers
until
until they started this fundraising kick. Like,
yep.
They're around for forever and had no idea. But
they're the UK version of the video game brothers, if you could imagine. Although Mr. Shadow certainly no Pixelandy there. Oh man, I had to get that one in. But so actually, Mr. Shadow's a very good commentator. Mentioned that he commentated CTWC UK last year, so looking to do that again. We'd love to have him maybe do some comms at the World Championship. But they need your help. Get on over there, get a donation or a contribution at that link once more to get our UK friends out over there. Thank you, Pumpy, for the pin of the link there. Much appreciated. All right, so Pumpy, we're going to take a quick 2-minute break. I'm going to set the scene up. The Clash of Champions will come to its conclusion. Somalian and Dan Vinky, get your warm-ups in, and let's do it. Be back after this ad break. Right, so we are back now. Ad break is done, and we are ready for the main event tonight. In fact, I'll let Mark Henry tell you how important of a main event it is.
Well, looks like there's been enough talk. It's time for the main event.
There you go. It is time for the main event. It is the Friendlies Heavyweight Championship. Young man out of Florida, Somalian captain, gets his first shot at the big gold belt. Current champion Dan Vinky staying up late in the UK, but that's okay. He's used to it. He's stronger that way. And he pretty much said, "Oi, I'll beat this smoker. It's a piece of cake. It's a silly STFUer, and I'm going to put him to bed before I go to bed."
Of course, so good.
Yeah, so good. And laughing with me is the man that told me about Oi, King. It's the Pumpy Heart. So Pumpy, big time fight we're about to get into, and of course, we're going to have some online facts that we are going to share about that. So we're going to segue on there before we see our players in action.
Now, King, I have one of those soundboard clips of the online facts. I'll have to shoot it to you. We never got it set up way back when, but I'll shoot it to you. I'm sure it'll make it into the Friendlies universe somehow.
Oh,
remind me.
If you could.
Yeah, I'll get it to you. It's Chris Tang saying it, and it's all clipped up, and yeah, I'll send it to you. Yeah.
That's perfect. We'll definitely add that in there. So Here we go. Online facts for this one for the Friendlies Heavyweight Championship challenger on the left. Somalian captain. Posted play style of tap and roll. The hybrider. He's always been a hybrider. Used to be a dash tapper, now a tap roller. 1.3 million personal best. I'm sure we'll talk about that in this one because you got to imagine, it's like, how could he still be stuck at 1.3 million score? And with all the things that he plays, right? Like Bumpy has mentioned, this guy is playing all the time. He's still stuck at 1.3. But we'll talk about that throughout the broadcast. Friendly's record, very good, 35-19, absolutely respectable. His notable achievement in his career is a CTWC Iberia champion from last year. Can you imagine that?
Was so good. It was so good. Went over and took one of the European crowns for the States. Love it.
Without question. And, of course, favorite Twitch emote, Pumpy, if you didn't know, is Smork.
Smork, yep. Yeah, checks out.
Our champion there on the right, looking ready to fight. He's got that fist right there, and he's going to punch somebody in the face. Is Dan Vinky. You know him as Dan V in other circles. Both the playstyle of roll. He's already just committed to that full time. No need to switch over anything else. Personal best is 2.4 million score. Friendly's record is 82-48. Bumpy, by far. Record-wise, he is the best of the best. No one can touch him in the wins column. Jeff is the closest. With Jeff is like around, I think Jeff is hovering like around 60 wins now. Vinky by far has blown everybody away. 82-48. Wow, that's astonishing.
And that's with March playing like 500 matches too, so unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean I don't count March because March is terrible. So notable achievement, Masters champion, the fastest Master edition. Some people would say it's an asterisk. I say it's a Master champion one way or another. So don't worry about it. And his favorite emote here, Bumpy, no shock. It's a good old-fashioned bear point.
Bear point. Yeah, it's a sub to Dan V. I gotta be honest though. It kind of looks like I'm about to get jumped by a Backstreet Boy or NSYNC or something with Dan V. And the you know, I don't know. Is that if I encountered Dan in the back alley, that's what he's gonna look like? I don't know.
Basically.
He might bring the fight, but I think that yeah, we'll see.
We shall certainly see. All right, so players, you know what this is for. It's for that big gold belt in the middle. Dan's first title defense. Somani going to look to try to make the upset. Although some people will tell you it's not an upset if he wins. It would just be continuing his journey of where he's been so far in the ClassicTetris scene. Players, if you are ready to go, decision on SPS or not, the champion can fully decide if he would like. Dan is hoping for the fellow Brit to win, keep the title here at home.
Dan kind of looked like Bear Point when he got that fist up a little bit.
A little bit, right?
You just stick that finger out, and I think it would have. SPS is confirmed for both these players. Get the seed in to chat. I think Somalians, never been able to click on that 29, but honestly, with all this talk of 39 caps and the double kill screen opportunities, you put up a really good score on 18 and 19, you're still gonna compete. We saw that with Brodendamp making top 8 last year. Is that right? In the CTWC?
That is correct.
Right.
Yeah.
You put up high scores consistently. That's gonna take you a long way. Now, will it get you over the top? I don't know. But why they play the games.
Exactly. That's why you play. You don't win on paper. Got to play the games, and anything can happen. Especially at the World Championships, we saw that.
Yeah, and back to I think they're gonna do Faster Masters again. That 19 start tournament. I think that's the next one is being planned in the books. So maybe that asterisk is gonna come off pretty quick if it even exists in the first place. It might. We'll see. We'll see.
And there is a little wrinkle here, Pumpy. So you weren't here before because you were streaming the PAL. But they have added a little wrinkle. They will play a level 69 cap with 2-time kills. So of course, in honor of yours truly. Level 69. So they go to 29. They can roll for 40 levels before the 2-time kill screen hits. Be very interesting to see if one of them can make it. That would be amazing.
Well, Somalian won't roll that far, but maybe Dan might. We might see level 69 from Dan.
So Dan's going to hope that's not the case because he certainly doesn't want to get this one going longer than a 3-game sweep because he's sleepy.
He's gonna mullen this first game to 69, and then 3 early tops. That's my prediction. Oh wait, I'm commentating. I can't predict it. Biased.
Yes, you are biased. But I thank you for reminding me. We probably should get a prediction going because people are here. People would like to spend channel points, and why not? Let's start a prediction. Puppy, if they're ready to go, just go ahead and count them down for me. That would be wonderful.
Got it. Still waiting on Dan. Dan's making sure there's no controller issues this time. He doesn't like it. I'm calling him with controller issues. And there they are. They're both ready. Let's count it down. Game number 1 of the Friendlies Championship in 3, 2, 1. Tetris. Heavyweight champ.
That's all right. This is where the big boys play.
And oh,
no.
I think okay. Dan started.
Okay.
Your reigning champ starting on Tetris, moving it over to the right.
Well, I'm glad he figured it out. I'm glad he figured it out. So, prediction is in for those of you that would like to spend the channel points. Who will be the champion? Will it be Somalian or Dan Vinky? I'm just gonna fix Dan's cam a little bit.
So Dan looking to defend the title, not this weekend, but next weekend, CTWC UK. I asked Somalian if he's going to try to defend Iberia. He said no. That one's going to get a new champ this year. Somalian not going to be over in the Iberian Peninsula. Oh, and Somalian hangs over on the left side. Couple quick burns to make it more accessible.
Somalian almost trying to come through with that fruition for Dan. Is like, please sweep. I'm sleepy. Got kind of a late night here for Dan. It is 1:30 in the morning over there in the UK. But I mean, Pumpy, let's be honest. So he may be sleepy, but this kid used to be out till like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning in his college days. Come on.
I think he's still living his college days. He says you got to live your 20s. He told me recently.
That's
okay.
True, yeah.
I forgot to do that. No.
Yeah.
Don't get them back. They don't. That's not how time works.
No, it does not. So I mean, that's a great way to look at things because he did say he's got to live his 20s. I did see that quote, and you know, it's funny. He can't get enough of the king. I'll tell you that much. He's the king's boy, as we all know, and he's of course the king's main guy here now in the Friendlies universe. But we'll be seeing each other in Portland if he's showing up, and he's already said he's going to be in New York too, Pumpy, right after. He's jet setting across the country. He's going to be in New York City, and it's like, all right, I'll see you on Monday. You'll be taking off, and then I'll see you Thursday. But I did promise him. I did promise him we'll go for cheesecake. You know all about cheesecake.
I was about to say, I think you've seen some of those cheesecake streams.
Yes.
And wants a little bite of the action. So in the lead right now, but it's close. 244 for Dan, 204 for Somalian. Somalian hangs again on that left side. Gonna take some burns to make it accessible. And again, I think that's the difference in Somalian. He's done a lot fewer of those meme plays. We see a lot more consistency, and that's how he got to the top in CTL. And looks to be working out because Dan's right side is gonna have to burn this down.
Yeah, very interesting board right now for Dan. Gonna roll that long bar all the way to the left side. Gonna get that nice double with a T and a double with a Z. And as we've seen many times over here, Pumpy, when it comes to rolling, we get a little intense when we see boards like that, but we're also seeing a little bit of aggressive setup. He almost was thinking dirty, thought better of it, but the long bar did come.
It's like we get used to those DAS limits, you know, okay, this is aggressive, this is not, and then it's just that you have to reset your calibrations when you get to rolling, and the players do it too. They know exactly, okay, I can hit this tap all the way over. They know that they can effectively cut the play field in half and still do well. Play style. Chopping away. Does allow Somalian to open up that lead though, that little slowdown, and it's not an insignificant one. 352 for Somalian, 294 as we approach the Joey Parker turn.
And this is kind of what you were alluding to earlier, Pumpy, is that the evolution of Somalia. We talked about the evolution of Maestro. Now we're talking about the evolution of the Somalian captain. Little less Mimi play, being a little bit more serious in what he's doing. It's paid off. Last CTL season, surprised the world, made it into the playoff. Of course, his reward was he had to play Gerald Freeman in the first round. But, you know, I think, you know, and we've talked about this many times. Look at that T-spin setup. You could call it a little Mimi, right? Because you're not really intuitively setting something up like that. But in that case, it was really efficient for him to do so.
Right. No, absolutely. I think that, you know, seeing those burns, he still has all those same skills when he was a memester. But now balancing it with taking a burn every now and then, you know, not the end of the world.
449 for Somalian, 410 for Vinky. As he is known here in the universe, he will also do a cheeky T-spin setup. So very good game going on. Obviously, Vinky behind in the score, but when we talk about the 19 and 29 play going on, Vinky will have the advantage just because of his certain superior skill playing that 29 speed.
There it is, transition for Somalian. 497. Dan's going to transition 480 right on the dot.
So pretty necky game, of course, Pumpy. Or how are the Palsters telling you how to say it that now?
Necky sounds a little bit like something else, you know. You squint your ears a little bit. You're like, oh, then necky, you know. Like, necky, right? Something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Gotta make sure to enunciate those vowels.
Enunciation is the key. As well as a very clean board. Somalian, Tetris in. Gonna set up a tuck. Spin with the S. Excellently done. Waiting on the lone bar for execution of a score. 588 for Somalian, 589 for Dan. Very tight game number one here, Bumpy. Kind of what you would expect at this juncture from players of this caliber. But if you're Somalian, you know, maybe gotta put a little bit more gas on because, as mentioned, 29 play, not on the same level as the champ. But if you could force him to be a little too aggressive, you know, and of course the disadvantage of the later start time for Dan, that might play a factor.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that also Somalian had so many double wells in that 18. Let them get just the briefest of advantages there. You kind of can't do that on 19 because the rollers can still play with half the board on these 19 speeds. Somalian likes to transition from the tap over to the roll somewhere around 27, 28. We see Jan just getting those pieces all the way over like it's nothing. Like it's level 9 or something. But it's insanely difficult. That timing to get every single tap in, you have to count the fingers, you know, that you have to roll and execute. You have that last second quick tap that if you jam your thumb into the top of the D-pad, if you miscount or miss one rotate in, that's why rollers were able to get consistency. And just like that, we're still pretty necky. 863 for Somalian, 836 for Vinky.
I think advantage goes to Vinky because that's his lucky Tetris shirt on. Man never loses when he wears that shirt, I'll tell you that much. Oh, Simul
like
Tetris.
His prison shirt. He's getting out of this. Oh! A little bit of parody, hilarity. Dan might just take these burns into transition. This is Somalian's chance to put the gas on.
972 to 917. Dan being very patient. Knows that, oh, here we go. I think there's a grip switch going on right there for Somalian. Kind of moved himself into a different position. You can see kind of getting ready. He knows. 2 lines left. He's already got the max out 842 on Somalian side. Dan hasn't gotten there yet. Dan is over 100,000 points behind with 3 lines to go. Here we go. 29 play in effect, Bumpy.
Here we go. And Somalian has to get pieces over the left side. Immediately gets that bar over. Somalian 6 months ago couldn't do that. Now getting that bar all the way over. Dan maybe want to set up here. There it is. Dirty Tetris for Dan. Max out City. And Somalian's going to be done at A57. So Vinky chases down. A58 is the target. See, that left side for Somalian really had issues during the post play, getting pieces all the way over. And Vinky's board is rising. Binky!
Oh!
No! Can't get it done. Tops out A23, and chat says, warm up done. Somalian taking the first crown, king. What is happening?
What is happening? What's happening is exactly what you're seeing. It's CTL Somalian all over again. This is exactly what he did in the last season to all of these rollers he played. He just played efficiently. He played strong, getting those max outs before 29. These rollers are trying to like catch up to him. If they fall behind, he didn't let up at all. And then those extra scores here on 29 BL, because I think what did he transitioned into 29 at like what, about like an A45, I think. So I mean, pretty close. Pretty close to what Dan almost could have chased. Those extra few points make a difference. And there you go, he's on the board, 1-0.
Right, even though that left side seemed tough for Somalian, that he really optimized that scoring in 27 and 28 when Dan just had to be content to burn, try to clean up the stack for 29.
Our players have incremented their seat and they are ready to go. No delay, time to play, like Ian Keith always says. I'll count them down in 3, 2, 1. Tetris, they'll get this game number 2 underway. And Pumpy, I'm just going to step away for a moment. If you could take the comms over, that'd be excellent.
You got it. And there we go. Yeah, same pieces for both. Off and underweight. I'm only gonna get that first Tetris. So yeah, Dan, with the we lost it a little bit. I'm gonna post it again. Dan, part of the fundraiser crew. If you like the play that you're seeing from Dan and some other UKers, they're all trying to make it a CTWC this year. So if you'll check out that link, streamlabs.com/heps xd1/tip. Maybe we'll put it in the video description or in a comment section for the YouTube for folks. But if you check that out, folks are trying to make it a CTWC, and Dan's one of them. So go help out the UK crew. Couple of folks who could really win this year from the UK. Those are the sort of the fundraisers that I personally am like really vested in. So can they make a deep run? Absolutely can. But right now we're seeing Dan are gonna have to take a couple skims. Somalian opening up a 70,000 point lead here. Tetris for Dan to cut it 50. 2.5 Tetrises lead here for Somalian. And again, with that rolling play style, Dan's gonna be able to play on 39. One, the faster masters would win all the way. Emphasized kill screen more than has ever been emphasized before in the world of classic Tetris, except for maybe those, sort of colors that Eric ICX did. So, maybe that's a bit of an emphasis. But emphasize the efficiency. That's what we really want to see. Want to see players stacking for Tetrises. Dan is able to mitigate that aggression on kill screen really well. Dog able to do it really well. Been very effective during the 39 cap era as we are in. So yeah. So if you're Somalian here, you definitely want to be aware that Dan has that, but also, you got to clean it up yourself. So Dan actually very clean, double wide, well, gets the Tetris. That double wide makes it very easy to burn. Column 9, any piece fit in there to burn, except for the long bar, I guess. But you set up that double wide once you have a Tetris ready. It's an old DAS technique, and it's still in the best stackers that you see today. Now you will see it so much higher, right? So Somalian set one up there very high up on the stack. DAS days, you're stacking that up like row 5, row 6. Nowadays, you'll start seeing it develop on row 10, row 12. You'll see that double wide start to be kicked in. You don't see it for as long as you used to. And that just goes to how the players have been able to squeeze out every ounce of efficiency. 282 for Dan, 234 for Somalian.
Looks to be Pumpy that Dan has woken up now. He said warm-up was done. And certainly, again, it is late over there in the UK. I think that first game really woke him up now. I think he's primed and ready to go. Does not want to have to hear it from Somalia. I think that's the other thing too, right? I mean, they're part of that group called the STFU, right? And I'm not gonna say what it means, but basically, they're part of that. And I think, if anything, it might hurt Dan's pride a little bit if Somalian were able to defeat him, and then Somalian's just gonna brag about it, all summer long, or maybe at CTWC when they meet up.
probably till the end of time, as long as they know each other, knowing how Somalian brags about getting a mod on a channel. I'm sure that you would never let Dan let it go. And I'm sure Dan also doesn't want to be another pumpy commentator Friendlies belt loss. So
That's true.
both of them have something to play for here. Dan definitely waking up in this game, as you were saying. 420, hey now, for Dan. 354 for Somalian. That's why they hosted in Portland.
Yeah, that is true. Nice J coming in for Dan. Gets that right side open, patiently waiting on the bar. Comes one piece too late after he blocked it, but another one will come for the score. 450 for Dan, 423 for Somalian. Somalian catching back up. Is ahead in the line count momentarily, but it's keeping up. Exactly the way you'd want. If you're Somalian right now, this is exactly the way you want this game to go. Just keeping it close, staying in there. You snuck one already. He's just got to do it 2 more times, and he certainly could also make history tonight. Bumping, for those that don't know, we have history being made again tonight. Dan, spoiler alert, 20Dan03 won the Twitch TV Championship. He is now in the annals of some of the greats. He has won a different belt for the second time ever. Only one other person has done it, and that's the young man on the right, who was a former Twitch TV champion, now the heavyweight champion. And Somalian was a former Phenoms champion, so if he can defeat Dan, he'll join them as well too. Unbelievable.
That would be crazy. I didn't realize the Somalian was that close. Yeah, the Phenoms. That's right. Like, and look again, the Friendlies universe. So many players have gotten their own stories, their own comebacks. Right, Somalian all down in Phenoms, working their way up to making CTL playoffs, and winning the CT Iberia. So you got a good thing going here, King.
We're producing the greats of the future here. Dan, terrible board to kind of transition in. We'll find a way to get this out, maybe set it up as a center well opportunity. And that's exactly what it looks like he's going to do here. 606, great transition, but Somalian 597, hot on the heels when we're talking score-wise. We're on level 20 for both Bumpy, and the line count is pretty much on par with one another.
That's right, so about a Tetris and a half difference here if you're looking at about the same lines. Somalian had a bit of a slowdown early in 18 and was able to keep the score about the same all the way throughout. So that's the difference here so far. Otherwise, they're matching each other's paces pretty well. And Somalian about to take a score lead with that Tetris. Oh man, microscopic Tetris lead. Dan takes it right back with that Tetris.
Wow, what a move too by Dan. He made the 5 and below adjustment in the center there. That set him up to get Tetris ready. My God. What a play.
Certainly a player here, Dan. Now, is he going to do it? No, he decides to bail on that dirty. Doesn't want to give the game away here.
Without question.
Somalian a bit of slowdown. Now back by 50,000 points.
This is a tight one again. 7, 8, 10 to 8:37. The neck alert is out, and also we're gonna have to bust something else out. Bumpy, you might not hear it, but the fans are chanting it. They're saying this is a pretty damn good game, and I always say it is pretty friggin' awesome.
Look at him go. 30,000 point difference here. Finky with the advantage.
Sharky's in the house. He says, "Shee!" Pretty tight game. Somalian already up 1 game to none for those just joining. Got a very good game of 18 to 28. Got some extra points on 29. He's doing it again here. This time, Vinky will get the max out first. Somalian right on the heels. Anybody's ball game here, Pumpy. It will come to 29 play.
Dan avoiding that slowdown. He had a pretty massive burn sequence on 28 and 29 that Somalian was able to take a lead. Dan's avoiding that sequence, and now Somalian's board in a little bit of trouble. Trying to take these burns, and that's just not what Somalian wants to do right now. Trying to find a roll transfer, and I think we see the reposition there. Gets to both players, a 1.1 here.
Ready the miss drop of the S piece. That left side gonna be tough to tuck anything in there. We'll get the square. Wants the bar.
No! Where's the bar?
Oh!
Oh! It was right there! King unable to get it over. Smalley is done. B17. Dan, quick 1.2 to cap it off. Ties up the set.
Very nicely done for the champ. Comes back strong after that tough chase down. So there we go. No sweep here tonight. Pumpy, the first 3 matches, all sweeps. It's all been sweeps. We've got 2 champs retained and a new champion crowned. And Dan Vinky says, not on my watch will that happen again. Kind of playing it out a little bit here. A little bit of a show. But he is good.
No sweeps, no sleep.
Vinky's asking, why is he mega delayed? Alright, I can give you a quick refresh. I don't know why. Browser sources, man. Give Vinky a quick refresh there. Let's see how that goes.
Looks exactly the same to me.
It does.
Yep. Oh, oi, chap. Is it me?
Oi,
Is it
King.
me?
Oi, King. Did I mess up my OBS? Did I hit a wrong button? I don't know, King. It's freaking almost 2 o'clock in the morning. You got me playing Tetris against this marker. I just want to go to bed with my bet. Do you mind, King? Let me just win these 2, and I'll take care of the rest. Thank you. Such a polite young chap.
Now that Somalian's cam stopped JPEGing for a second, that's a Chevrolet logo. What jersey is that? Who has Chevy on the front of their jersey? Is that some?
Would be. I think that's. He might be wearing the Brasilia shirt. He's representing the Brazilian national team, or it could be something else.
They have Chevy down in Brazil, right?
They got Chevy everywhere. Pumpy, count him down. Game number 3 for our players.
In 3, 2, 1, Tetris. He's Team Chevy Kona. I think soccer. Okay.
He thinks soccer. He doesn't even know what he's wearing. That's great. Imagine. All right, Dan is starting.
Like I have a Kona, but it's not a Chevy. It's a Hyundai. Hyundai thing.
Hyundai. But then clearly he has no clue what he's wearing. It doesn't matter. But it's very much in line with what looks like his Brazilian jersey that he has. That at least he knows. He wears that in honor of his Latam brother-in-law. So he. Surprised he's not wearing that tonight. But I thought maybe that would have been his lucky shirt, much as Dan is wearing. Dan's wearing his lucky striped shirt. If it was red and green there, you'd probably say it's Freddy Krueger's offspring, but he's got it in white and gray. I guess it's close enough.
His Prison Break.
Yep. Oi.
1920s Prison Break.
Oi, Pompey. I got to do a jailbreak on my phone, so I'm gonna wear this shirt. Oi, Pompey. Oi.
That sounds like him. Yep, he would do that. Oh me. And King, I wanted to tell you in level 18, but you were gone most of level 18. There has been a confirmed sighting at WPL Ohio this weekend. It's the first ever Classic Tetris event for this person.
Oh.
Uncle Mike is in Ohio. Can you believe it?
Oh my word! Wow. You know, he's been talking about trying to go to Portland. You know, back when they were hoping the pandemic was coming to an end, and they were talking about. I think it was more 2021 that Mike had said that they were looking forward. They were definitely going in 2020 because that's kind of where Anna and Mike got their start here for the quals, and we kind of learned about them. But they had hopes of going to Portland that year, and clearly that didn't happen. And then 2021, there were some rumblings that he would be interested in going, but that didn't happen again. And then obviously 2022, we were surprised Anna D did come with her friends, and unfortunately no Uncle Mike. That was the one thing I was kind of sad about. But I did get an autographed picture of Uncle Mike. She gave that to me personally, along with 27,000 other people.
I was about to say my Uncle Mike autograph is on the fridge, but Dan V looking for some way to get out of this. Getting tight up here. I have it on the fridge, and I'm waiting for someone to ask who it is. To like open that window, you know. Most people have pictures of their family, you know. I'll be like, yeah, this is a random, incredibly cheerful old person that I have no idea. I've never met before. But,
Well, it's so glad
Yes.
to hear that he's going to be there, and I can't wait. I hope he qualifies. He'll make a bracket. I'm sure he'll make a bracket.
I think that's the WPL way. They want to have a big bracket and let everybody in. So I think if he qualified, we'll see some live Uncle Mike Tetris action. I'd love to see it too.
Of course, you can
And
watch.
Ryan,
Sorry,
go ahead.
No, you're segueing perfectly because, of course, we want to see it live and in person. So you can see that on the ClassicTetris 2 channel tomorrow. Make sure you are subbed over there, or at least have the notification button on to remind you when they go live and can watch all the action. It's going to be hosted by Grand Designs. He's going to be in the house there. He's going to take over a producer role there along with Colin, and that should be a lot of fun as they get that going. But go ahead, Pumpy. What about Ryan? Is Ryan Ambergy, are you talking
that's
about?
right. Yeah, Ryan Ambergy's there too. So a little bit of Beepo Monk meetup happening at Ohio. He couldn't make the trip down to Lone Star, just a couple hours south. Makes it up to Ohio. So we'll see. I think it's Ryan and Doodle and Cole. You know, just the most cheerful folks. Oh, Dan. Okay, gets that bar over. Shaking his head. That bar didn't come in time. And while we're cracking jokes here, Somalian is cracking leads. Tetris to go to 443. About 100,000 point lead here over Dan. Early days, you know, but
Yeah,
no luck on.
Yeah, again, exactly what you've said all night, Pumpy, that this is exactly what Somalia needs these type of games. Force Dan's hand to fall behind, play aggressive, and stay in it. Almost was looking good for that game number 2. Dan about to get out of this, looking for that S piece. There it is, with that square. No so bueno. And again, just rough sequence coming in.
Yeah, terrible parity. No place for the pieces.
Kind of a terrible score situation for Dan. He's at 397 at the moment, 120 lines in. Somalian, just doing Somalian things. This is where he has really upped the game. I mean, we can't stress that enough here, Pumpy. All night long, we've been kind of talking about how good he has gotten, and excellent spin over there, trying to fix up the board sequence that he's got placed. That square not going to help, but has the line still to remain. Dan is 2 lines away from transition, and he's going to have to play some really strong 19 if he wants to start catching up.
I do think Dan is one of those players that gets a little bored with 18. He's been a little vocal about switch to 19 starts at some point, maybe, you know? So I think that he does have an extra gear winning that faster Masters, but he's going to have to execute it here right now.
That's adjustment for Dan. Going to get that right side open, looking for the bar for the relief. Not going to get it. Bar comes way too late. Somalian in control, 6:04 right now. Somalian. Oh, look at this dirty setup. Oh.
Okay, opens it up. Where's the bar?
Waiting for Pumpy to say it, but it was a dirty Tetris, and then he opens the well up there. Dan Vinke stays alive at 497, but the captain absolutely in control here, Pump. He's at 661 on 21. No stopping him. Another Tetris to take the lead at 687, even higher and higher and higher. And another one, 715 to 525, nearly 200,000 points on the champion at the moment. This is nuts.
This is wild. I mean, Dan's gonna have to respawn here in kill screen. We keep saying that all night, and Dan actually hasn't hit that level yet. Got a little preview of the Mullen, but you know, even already at level 23, why don't I go ahead and start thinking, all right, I want to have a clean stack going into 29 so I can start dictating the terms there. Somalian just not letting up here.
He's being very strong right now. Again, 802 for Somalian, 644 for Vinke.
And about a level behind in lines too, so it's a little bit worse than it appears just from the score.
Again, you gotta think maybe Dan's like, you know what, it's okay. As long as I can get some scores and keep it close enough, maybe that 29 play, I can clutch out 69 kill screen. Right, Pumpy? So you've got
That's right.
40 levels if he needs to not worry about the change in speed. It'll be an advantage for him.
The competitive spirit from both of these players, I don't think we're going to see that line out strat from Dan, even with such a high cap. Wants to do it in style, probably will be just that same as aggressive. Somalian knocks down the Tetris, almost a max out here on 26. Next burn, just about does it. So 180,000 point lead has just stayed this entire time for Somalian, and again back by 10 lines.
Yeah, that's kind of, partly due to the same P sequence that they're using, right? So it's kind of like you've talked about that among, number of other restreamers always talk about same P sets, that if you're gonna go scoring Tetris per Tetris with each other, you're really not gonna make up any type of ground. You really need an opponent to falter here, and Dan gonna go with a dirty Tetris again. At 9:31, he needs to get out of this. He needs to start staying alive. Somalian, A81. He's in the lead. He's in control. Kind of a misstep there for Jay. Holding out for that bar. He'll get it. Go to B17. Every point's going to matter for him. Dan. Oh, that square.
Oh, Dan, can't get the square.
Oof. Nice setup for Dan, but he's in the burn. It's not going to happen. He's topped out, 949. He didn't even make the max out here. Another strong game from Somalian Pumpy. B21, max out after max out after max out. And the story continues. This man has turned his competitive play around. No more fooling around. He's 1 win away from making history. GG's.
GG. I mean, I think that the consistency, right? And you can, something that people rarely talk about anymore is PBs. Once you get over that, we joked a little bit, all right, Somalian, where's that? Well, Somalian, you're going to get it roll over it one of these days, right? We joked a little bit about that in the opener. But honestly, once you get that above that 1.5 range, 1.3, 1.4, that all starts to crumble in this age of a line cap and putting it into the game. So Somalian for showing that you're just a consistent max out 1.1, that'll win you a lot.
And Victus Rage says all these games are so tight. Well, let's see if the fourth one can stay in that same site. Pumpy got him down. It's a pivotal one.
In 3, 2, 1, Tetris.
The champ on the ropes. The challenger looking to make history again tonight. Unbelievable. Pumpy, if you look at this one on paper, people are saying, oh, easy sweep for Dan. Can't imagine Somalian playing 29, keeping up. He doesn't even need to really do that at all tonight. His 18 to 28 has been stellar.
That's right. You'll win a lot of games if you stay stellar with that. And Dan just a little bit. Maybe it's the time of day. Maybe it's been playing a lot of Tetris today. Who knows? But right now the 29 is not clicking. So I think Dan probably gonna have to look to come back here and beat Somalian at his own game. Played that 18 through 28 well, and there it is. Somalian already feeling the pressure, going for this dirty.
Yeah, bit of a drought going on. Finally, there it is. The dirty Tetris for Somalian. Dan waiting for his long bar. It ain't coming yet. There's one. And he can't even get the second one to use for the Tetris either. So he's already behind the eight ball.
Great adjustment, though. I think putting the bar over the well there, any other placement with that sequence coming up would have been sealed the deal.
And there's another,
so excellent adjustment, yeah.
Yeah, another dirty Tetris for Somalian too. In fact, we'll see if Dan can pay off here. There it is. He'll get his long bar for scoring. Early days in this one, Pump. A couple more Tetrises coming in. It's 191 for the challenger. 131 for the champ. Absolutely. Dan's going to have to bring it right now. There are no more tomorrows. Would be very, honestly, Pumpy, not going to lie, this would be a very shocking turn of events. I already had started making plans to get the custom-made Friendlies belt and have it ready for Portland to present to Dan. And
my.
And now I may be presenting it to Somalian? Are you kidding me?
Well, you know what they say about best laid plans, don't they?
Oh my god.
That's right.
Then you go sleep with the fishes. Oh god.
But Dan in the lead right now, so maybe not all hope is lost, but a very, very small lead. 246 for Dan, 245 for Somalian, who has had a little bit of a slowdown here. Needs the bar for the dependency. Ooh, line spin from Dan. Ooh. Burn it away, and a bar, and just that T flat will open it up. Tetris for Dan to really take advantage of this slowdown from Somalian.
Yeah, I feel like these games tonight, it's like they've been trading. Each game just been a suffer in one hand or the other. Dan kind of featured that there. He transitioned with like a high 300, finished with a mid 900. So you're looking at 500 plus K post for Dan in that one. So kind of stamps the statement you made earlier there, Pump, about Dan maybe preferring 19 play over the 18. Just kind of bored with it, as you said.
Yeah, I mean, there's something to it. I think that yeah, when's the last time how many rollers do 18 starts? Like in their streams or their practices, that rarely happens, So we're starting to see players become more accustomed to, they don't even practice 19, right? They jump straight to 29 of those high tier rollers. So we're starting to see a little bit of maybe that, I don't know, maybe 18's a little too slow for some of the very top. I don't know yet. It's not going to happen overnight, but I would say, and I've said it before, and it's stirred some controversy before, but I think 18's days are numbered at the very, very top. And just in time, there you go. Ramation's got his first 19 start max. There you go. So, as we're talking about players getting bored with 18, he's doing new things on 19 as well. Strucky saying fake news. Yeah, it's a little fake news, but the first recorded one there.
Oh man, Somalian all the way at the top here. Oh, there you go. Super tap from Somalian, get the L to burn, and then the long bar to score. 393, Somalian 486 for Dan. So we'll see if Dan can pressure the captain to play a little bit of a spicy 19 plus as we are about to approach there. Good over 100,000 point lead for the champion. He's got to stay awake a little bit longer here if he wants to keep the belt.
That lamp is pulling heavy duties tonight.
And here we go, Pumpy. Transition has occurred. 581 to 491, just under 100,000 points. Dan's going to look to try to maintain that, because then he knows if he can keep that 100,000 point lead, by the time they get to 29, chances are going to look good for him to take that.
That's right, really forcing Somalian to play aggressive here on 19. We saw Somalian play really safe and conservative 18 and come out on top a number of times, but now it's going to have to be aggressive on 19, again, where Dan has really felt his stride so far here tonight.
Gims for Dan to keep that board under control, but no long bar in this portion of the sequence. Safety S for the double. There's the bar, there's the score, and there's one for Somalian, and there's for Dan. So Dan, of course, still a little behind in the sequence, so whatever Somalian gets first, Dan will get that shortly after. 717 for Dan, 679 for Somalian. Dan playing
that exaggerated double wide from... That's right. Exaggerated double wide from Dan, though. It makes it really easy to scale down.
Always still a concern just because he's got no more games to give. He's got to make sure it cannot make a mistake. Somalian just... It's been so good tonight. Pumpy. Whether he can pull this off and become the champ or not, I mean, I think he's opening people's eyes right now that he is legit.
That's right. All eyes on Somalian tonight. Definitely a shocker, up 2-1. I was not expecting that, regardless of how it turns out here. But 120,000 point for Dan. Somalian's got to hope that Dan gets into trouble here or start planning for Game 5.
789 for Somalia, 908 for Dan. Slam the Tetris to go to 941. Potential max out incoming on 26 for Dan. Really knows, gotta pump the gas here. Also gotta play a little safe, no bar coming. There we go, we got the Tetris. Somalian's board. Needing some work, maybe gonna go dirty at this point here, Pumpy.
Just not the right pieces for that stack. Dan with a max out here on 27, another Tetris.
There you go. That T hangarang probably will spell doom, and there it is. He tried to grip switch there at that moment, Pumpy, but it's too high and too fast. Not gonna get out of it. 813 for Somalian, and Dan B18 already with 4 lines left to go. Pumpy, this has been a damn good one, and I'm proud to say the Game 4 is no more. All sweeps tonight in the first 3 matches. Well, you stayed up long enough. You'll get to the cider. Drink it up, Pump. Let's do it.
Right, we got anyone got those D-Cider emotes? I got one. I'll put one in.
Pumpy's got
Dan needed one here in order to force the decider. Done just that. Another 1.2 decider always. Dan.
Well, as it should be. This has been a damn good one. Somalian putting on a showcase for the world to see that he's legit. Don't count him out in any match anymore. Vinky showing you that when he can get it together, absolutely beast mode. They've incremented the seed. It'll be the final game of the night. And it could be the final game of Vinky's reign if he can't pull it out. Huge game number 5 coming up, Pumpy. And this is why we love seeing 18 starts, because the drama is beginning to fill.
Right. All down to this. Either we'll have a new champion, or we'll have Dan making... I think they're all making history tonight, right? Right, Dan defending it. Gonna get at CTWC live belt. I think that's history too.
That would be history as well.
Game 5, you count them down.
Oh, well, first I gotta say, excelente, much like first time chatter Elizabeth Rum. Thank you so much for watching this. You're about to watch, hopefully, an excelente game number 5, because my guest, Pumpy Hart, will count them down for the fantastic finale. Let's do it, Pump.
Let's do it in 3, 2, 1, Tetris.
The belt is on the line. Somalian, the challenger, looking to make perhaps an upset. The champion, Dan Vinky, forcing the decider to keep the belt home. And
Bring it home.
Breaking home. And breaking news. Ian Keith, flight is booked. The Silver 2022 finalist is back. Good to see you there, buddy.
That's gonna be awesome. Yeah, it's just seeing everybody come in, and there's a spreadsheet in the Discord server. If you aren't already in the CTWC Discord, there is a sheet where you can say, I'm going to CTWC, and just watching that fill in over the past month or so. It's been wonderful to see. Really helps some game planning, some strategizing. I'm sure the organizers appreciate it. And knowing that Ian's gonna be there, Ian's a very kind soul. It was great to see.
When we're not on camera, of course. When we're off camera, oh, forget it. The screaming and the promo cutting. Oh my god, it's nuts. 137 for Samani, 136 for Dan. Early days in this one, but players keeping stacks under control and certainly looking to avoid making any mistakes here. Dan going to fill out that left side Somalian. kind of burning on the right to secure a skimming solution. Dan, a little bit up high, but he'll get his bar momentarily. And he's a little behind in the sequence. There it is. And he'll get that score in. So Pompey, wow, what a match this has been. This has been great. And, you know, we've talked about CTWC. This is a potential matchup we could see in the gold bracket. Could be at any placement, because honestly, these two could get some good scores. And I'm sure, you know, there'll be more information on how qualifying will be taking place. But we all know that October 13th to the 15th, it'll be happening at the Portland Retro Gaming Expo. And, man, how hype are you?
It's gonna be awesome. I hear that the word has been received that that carts are being worked on to have that level 39 turned on. Right, players and audiences were like, please don't let them roll out for forever. Well, get your wish this year. I think that's in the works. I don't know if it's entirely confirmed yet. If it's all finished, I have no idea. From my sources, that's going to happen, and I think that the player base certainly approves of that move. So it's going to be exciting. First time ever, right? First time ever. CTWC is like, yeah, you know, we're this is A-type. It's been pretty good, you know. Of course, we'll have the score on cap, but now we have the same pieces. Okay, but now we're going to say, all right, we're going to add a new speed. That's going to be pretty exciting to see.
Yeah, and of course, I give credit where credit is due, with CTM being really the one to do it first, right? Always, I think, you know, you're part of that team to make sure that, you know, this is the era that it needs to happen. You know, there was a lot of talk for a long time about, you know, we don't need it.
That's right.
And then we found out, yeah, you do need it. And
funnily enough, it was Lone Star last year that we sat across the table from Van's like, I don't think we need it, and it was Fractal and Scout, and we all just like had it out, and it's like, we're gonna try it, you know, if whether we do it for forever or not, we gotta try it. The results speak for themselves. So
exactly. No, I think without question that was a huge moment in gaming history as far as Tetris lore is concerned. That moment needed to happen. Of course, just like anywhere, you need that moment to happen in those events where, you know, CTWC, listen, we're back live for the first time. People are not gonna, your casual viewers are not gonna be aware of line caps and such like that. You needed them to see. You needed them to see why you need to go that route, and I think it's going to be for the better. So, you know, hopefully the team gets that set, we'll get those 39 caps, and I think the tournament will be even better for it.
Yeah, same. And speaking of even better, like, these two players are just delivering here in the decider. Bring those necks up, King. It's 481 facing 490. Dan with a slight advantage, but it's neck and neck.
Almost certainly is. And Pumpy's such a good producer. You know, maybe he's training to be an executive producer one day. Got the neck alert going. 487 to 495. Dan, better board. Somalian looking to just get it cleaned up. Still plenty of time before we hit that 19. We're gonna go 5 for 5 on transitions here, Pumpy, which is no shocker when you're playing at this elite level. The Friendlies universe has certainly seen its fair share of great players come through, and these two are doing their yeoman's work to make it a good one. We've had some decent games going on tonight. Some quick ones happened as well, but at the end of the day, these two are looking to make history. Who will come out on top?
Right, you held your breath there a little bit with Somalia with a little bit of a dig, but yeah, I think barreling towards transition here. It will be, damn, with 600k, still a Tetris, or still 2 Tetrises to go if the bars come, but at least a Tetris remaining.
Somalian, very cheeky Z-spin there. That is a go for broke moment there. If he misses that, that's major trouble in a bottle. He's alive. 552 to 641. Dan, the champ, looking to finalize it. Wants that belt live in Portland, Oregon. Somalian looking to be the spoiler and get his name on a belt.
The 2-time belt earner would be Somalian if he wins this one. Dan, looking forward to getting it in person. Oh, this game is so close. What's happening? 633 for Somalian, 744 for Dan. 100k is nothing to these players. There's one slowdown. They're playing same pieces. They get the same bars. So if someone gets a dig, that's the other person's opportunity to catch back up.
L-piece fits perfectly for Dan on the left side, looking to make sure that he can skim Somalian T-Tuck. Bangarang Tetris, 689 for the challenger, 799 for Dan. A little bit of a scary moment.
Yeah, Somalian missed the spin. Had a spin opportunity to burn, missed it, so it has to slow down. It's going to let Dan put even more fuel on the fire here. 860 for Dan, 723 for Somalian. Tetris for Somalian cleaned her up just like that.
Higgins in the chat wants to know, is the belt reversible? Only at JCPenney's. Now, Pumpy, let me ask you, you've seen plenty of Somalian games. You know he's a group switcher. Kind of does it very late. Do you think he's got to do it a little earlier, knowing that he's down this much?
I don't know. I think that there's still a window here. I think maybe you start thinking 26 instead of 27 or Friendly into 28. I think that Dan hasn't been able to capitalize as much. It's still been about 110,000. Oh, no! Maybe now. Maybe now is when you grip switch. Really needs a bar to help do that. No bar coming. There it is. Tetris. Or, sorry, just a triple for Somalian.
That's a little deceiving there on the placement. Dan's got to slam a Tetris. Max out already occurred. Somalian is running out of room! And there it is, Bumpy! Oh, he couldn't pull it off. A tough break for him here in the 5th game. He gave it his all. Gave it his heart. But at the end of the day, that young man right there, your video partner in crime for YouTube's shaking his head. He knows he got away with one tonight. Wow, what a finish, Pump.
Yeah, Somalian would have never let it down if it would have faltered. But Dan's going to be able to keep the bragging rights here. I'm gonna keep playing out. Let's see if let's get that 69 cap.
Yeah, Dan knows.
I'd love to see it.
Final game of the night, and as we know, Dan Vinky survives game number 5. Will take the game of the match and still your Tetris Friendlies champion. Gee freaking jeez. Ring the bell, Charlie. Wow. Honestly, Pumpy, I'm glad you came in for that one, because kind of had some duds earlier on while you were streaming, pal. But this one, the Mice and Peyton game number 1, that's Super Show type matches we want to see. And well done to these two. They put on a show for us. And I think Somalian just earned some more fans here. People are very impressed with his play today.
Right, really put himself on the track. Right now, the dark horse list, you start, okay, Somalian with that. If he can get the roll switch a little earlier, Vinky's going to top out another 1.2. What's 3 1.2? That'll win you a number of matches.
Oh, it will. Let's go transition over to the winners scene and congratulate that young man right there. He has done it. Give him his friggin' belt, man. Give him his friggin' belt. He is the Tetris Friendlies heavyweight champion. Dan, don't call me Vinky, has done it. Congratulations to him. Stayed up so late. It's almost 2:30 in the morning where he's from.
Whew.
But like I told you, Pumpy, I don't think it matters what time he plays. It's 2:30 in the morning, 2:30 in the afternoon. This guy is a legit contender to make top 8 of the World Championships this year. No doubt about it.
Never in doubt, Dan V says in chat. Yeah, absolutely. I think top 8. Is Dan gonna be hosting a trophy this year? I don't know. I think he's definitely got the talent. He's got the dedication. Now, does he have the time? Right? It's gonna be all these teenagers that he's competing against who are just gonna not do schoolwork for a few months, But we'll see. Dan definitely riding the summer wave. Fractal rode it all the way to a 2nd place finish last year. We'll see. And he's going to have to bump up his chase down success rate, which is 0%. So he needs to figure that out too.
Certainly does, yeah. All right, congratulations to the champ. He has successfully defended in a damn good one. That one is going to go absolutely all in the recommended viewing. Great job, Somalian, tonight as well. Very, very good games. And I can't wait. Can't wait to present the belt to that young man Friday at qualifying. He'll get a real live friggin' belt. Love it.
That's great. Oh my. Wait, at qualifying next week, you've arranged it all? I thought it was like CTWC, not CTWC UK. You already got King. You think of everything. Crazy.
It is crazy, but you're also crazy to think that I would have shipped it out to the UK at those prices. Come on, man. No, he'll get it at CTWC, but of course, as mentioned, need help to get there. It's a very expensive trip, so make sure you help and do those contributions. Make sure you're following the players as they are getting their fundraising streams going on. The road to CTWC has begun and continues this weekend. It's really kicking it off now, Pumpy. It is a big weekend. The next 3 Saturdays full of action, and Sundays too, with the regionals that are going on. We've got the Ohio, as mentioned, on CT2, the big one, Super Regional Phoenix, here on this main channel. You get to see that. You'll also have the UK, as Pumpy mentioned, will be next weekend. So Dan will be there against his rival SV. The two of them, I'm sure, are looking to be going at it one-on-one. And then after that, you go to Hartford, with potentially me being in the house with Bidwell, where you can see some of the best in the Northeast region of the United States going at it. And then we continue on, Pumpy, with DAS World Championship in September. I'm sure there'll be maybe 1 or 2 more regionals there. And there's a lot of Tetris happening up to the World Championship, Pumpy. This is the channel to be at, right?
That's right. Follow, subscribe, turn the bells on. And just about, like you said, every weekend is going to be full. Iberia is coming up as well. So many tournaments that are going to be happening here. You won't want to miss any of the action. So if you want to get a little bit of your cheat sheet into who's who for CTWC this year, it's going to be people who have played a couple weekends ago, people who play this weekend, people who play in the future. And I know that there's also a sneaky one that CTWC Gamescom is the weekend coming up, right?
That's true, yeah.
That some people, it'll pay a flight out to Portland from Europe. So I think some people that raised some ears, and some people trying to make a flight out might attend that one. You know, it was announced 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, and suddenly, I'm gonna try to make to that one. Won't want to miss it. You
don't want to miss it. You gotta be, if you can make it to these live events, Pumpy and I will certainly confirm with you. They are amazing. Just got back from Lone Star, and I had a great time. You know, it was a trip that I needed to make at least once, and I'm so glad. If you can only do it one time, why not head to one and make it the big one, the World Championships. So
that's right.
Time to kind of send our regards here. I'd like to thank the players first and foremost here, Pumpy. I'd like to thank them because without them, I have no content to provide to you, the fans. So I'd like to thank all of those players that participated tonight in our fictitious title belts, and I'd like to think we'll get a real one down the road. And I'd like to thank the commentators, who I had Sonny hanging out for the first 2 matches. Pretty much never asked him to come back again because those were duds, and they cursed him because of that. But I'll always invite Pumpy hard, because as soon as Pumpy came in, then we upped the ante, and games were much better, including the main event. So Pumpy, thank you so much for hanging out with me. Pump, if you'd like to plug anything, go right ahead before we sign off.
That's right. Nothing. I will plug just one thing. I want to give a shout out to Fractal and Professor L and Fireworks, who are working hard on the CTDB project. We're over 36,000 matches now, and it all is on a spreadsheet, and that's just not good. So they keep playing matches. We've been trying to develop a website that houses all the matches, but also houses the ELO and the ranking. So I just want to give a thank you to Fractal, who's working on some of the front end, Fireworks are working on some of the front end, and Professor L, who's made a monster back end that supports every single play style tournaments, every single type of score record that you can think of, and of course the ELO rankings themselves, all built in. So that's who I want to shout out, that team who's doing a lot of work behind the scenes and not very public, but thank you all for all that you do.
Absolutely. Always got to shout out those that work behind the scenes, because they do so much work and never get enough of the credit. Usually the people that are in the front of the camera are the ones everybody recognizes, but always never forget those that make it happen. So thank you, Pump. Of course, you are definitely one of those that is both behind and in front of the camera, so you certainly know how that goes.
Every now and then. And thanks, Kings, for having me on as well. You said you want to shout out. I guess I'll shout out Kingsman. Yeah, Tetris Friendlies.
Yeah, Tetris Friendlies.
For having me on. It was always a good time to be here.
Yeah. And of course, we do this every Monday and Friday. Monday hosted by the Burb Wizard, and Friday, yours truly, Friday Night Fights, of course. We'll be back next week for some Friday night action for our regularly scheduled program. So again, I'd like to thank all of you for joining this evening. And again, thanks to all the viewers, because without you, there's no one to present this to. And I'm about to send all you viewers out to another land here in the Classic Tetris scene, because guess what? Our friend, the man that, pretty much helped establish this channel, Mr. Classic Vomche, is streaming right now. He's streaming some setup. They're setting up over in Phoenix.
That's right, setting up Phoenix, right? Oh my gosh, this looks so good.
It really,
this
it really
layout
does, yeah. This is
very crisp. Yeah. So we won't spoil any more about it, but there's some players, some picks you might recognize. Yeah, this is clean. I'm very excited to see what's going on in the Game On Expo.
And certainly, if you're in that area and you want to go, there is still tickets to get, and you can participate in the event and get more information. Head on over to the CTWC Discord and go to the forums, right? Pumpy, your favorite, the forums.
That's right, the forums. And we'll get the forums up, we'll get the Google calendars, get the website, get all that.
Yeah. Even Chris Tang can find the forum, so make sure you head on over there and get all the information for all the live events. Well, so Pumpy Heart, it's the king of the restreams. I'll see you all next time. Thanks for watching.